Okay. Shalom, everybody. Shalom, everybody.
Right.
Hope everybody's doing well. Peace and love. Almost like some Soul Train show, man.
Right.
But hope everybody's doing well in Israel.
Wow.
Hope everybody had a Tawab Shabbat. We're back cracking on Monday, trying to bring that heat, that energy. Dawiyad's come running a little late. He'll be here hopefully. Help finish off class with me. Are there any questions from brothers and sisters online or brothers and sisters in class before we kind of roll? Shalom, sir. Shalom, everyone. Are there any questions before we go into class?
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Philippians 4 and 10.
Let's get Philippians 4 and 10.
You going over doing 7?
Yeah, let me get it real quick. Okay, Philippians 4 and 10. Shalom, everybody. Okay.
I was trying to get just a little bit more understanding on what's meant by the lack opportunity.
Okay, we're gonna probably need to read up a little bit. I'm pretty sure. Read it real quick in Philippians.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 10.
Okay, now. Okay. Okay, Philippians 4 and 10. Let's get it.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 10. But I rejoice in the Most High greatly, that now, at the last, your care of me hath flourished again, wherein ye were also careful, but ye lack opportunity.
Okay. Let's read verse 8 down so we can try to get it in context. So there's no we were reading about this last Saturday about being careful for nothing. If I'm not mistaken, we started at verse 6, right? And in verse 6 was talking about not being over anxious and over stressed about anything that we go through, knowing the Most High was going to look after us. And now we're jumping down. Let's get verse 8 real quick.
Verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
So it's very important to make sure you think and meditate on anything positive and virtuous to keep your spirit up and to help eliminate that anxiety or that extra carefulness that we all function with based upon the things we go through in the world. Okay? Let's continue.
Verse 9. Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the Most High, and the power of peace shall be with you.
So what he's saying is, Paul is saying to make sure you follow Paul's example, his example of living, his example of thinking and functioning the right way. And in doing so, you'd be in the right spirit. A verse to kind of couple with this would be in 1 Corinthians 11, where it says, be followers of me as I am of Christ. So if you follow Paul's example, and Paul's example is on point, you're still following Christ's example because you're following his blameless example. Okay? Now let me give you verse 10.
Verse 10. But I rejoice in the Most High greatly, that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again.
So now this is just Paul saying thank you to the Most High for having brothers and sisters reciprocate kindness at a time where he was in need.
Right.
Read on.
Wherein ye were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity.
So what he was just saying is that it isn't like they didn't have a willingness to help him, but they didn't have an opportunity to show that they cared. Because what Paul was so careful about was about being blameless. What made Paul Paul was that when you read I think it was 1 Corinthians 12. We're not going there, but it talked about the things that Paul gloried in, and the things that Paul gloried in was the fact that nobody he was chargeable to no person, and in his conduct there was nothing that he did that offended people, or nothing that he did to where he overused his position. overuse his authority. And he said that was the thing he gloried in. Not in his understanding, not in his wisdom, not in the great works that he brought to the table, but the fact that he didn't get in the way of another person having the opportunity to grow and flourish in Christ. So that was where he says but he lacked an opportunity, because he made sure he eliminated the opportunity for them to constantly help him and depend on him. Also in that chapter in Corinthians 12, it talked about how, and we've gone over this in different classes, how the parent was supposed to provide for the children, not the children constantly providing for the parent. And he said he prided himself in that he gave most of his time to help the sick and the young, and the expectation was never to be reversed, to where the church body was in a situation where they constantly had to help him. Okay? So that was where his mindset was in making sure that people didn't feel overburdened by the things he went through. For those who know about Paul, he had issues with his sight and his vision. So obviously in this situation, he wanted to thank the church that was in Philippi, but knows that, hey, you guys didn't have a lot of opportunities to show that you cared, but when you had the opportunity, you really came through in a clutch and showed that you cared. You know what I'm saying? Is that helping?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, read verse 11. It kind of fits right in.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therefore with to be content.
And this is the thing. He learned how to be content so he wouldn't be a burden to the body. Because if he was sitting back here constantly looking for need, constantly wanting things, then guess what? Those wants would have had to have been fulfilled by who? The church body in the camp. And he wanted to make sure that the church body in camp didn't have to carry him for anything, so he can be blameless. And the word and message of Christ would make him blameless. Got it? Okay. Any other questions? Yeshai, any questions, man?
No, not yet.
Anybody else have any questions before we continue the class? Yes.
How do you know after a while, let's say you make a mistake and then you're trying to get right, how do you know you're doing a good job without someone telling you you're doing a good job? Because I think you've mentioned that before, like when you're in this work, you're not always going to get a thank you, you're not always going to get a high five.
Hell no.
So how do you...
High fives are at a minimum. Gold stars are at a minimum too. I haven't got a gold star in quite some time, man. But I'm sorry. One thing that what I learned was how I knew I was growing was I would see it when I was in a different city, or if I would see it when I was around people that I knew in the world, and I would see the difference in mindset, and I would see the difference in how they rode versus how I rode, and I'd be able to see the difference that way. I'm like, damn, this guy's conversation, was this how I was talking back in the day? How this guy's talking to me? Like, that's insane. I was really about that life. That would be something that would kind of like bring me to reality. Damn, you've really changed. Based off the people that I used to know in the world and how they carried themselves versus how I am carrying myself now. Another thing would be, like I always bring this out, about how long are you able to sustain your strength? Because how a lot of times I used to evaluate myself, and I'm only going off of my experience. I just sit back and look at myself from now to 6 months ago. And I would sit back here and say, man, how was I 6 months ago to now? And when I would sit back and go 6 months ago to now, that's how I would be able to sit back and say, you know what? I've made some adjustments. I've made changes. Evaluating yourself in 3 to 6 month increments wouldn't be a bad way to kind of test how far you've gone. That makes sense? So evaluating yourself on a 6 month basis, and then really when you come across people that you haven't come across with in the world and you see how your conversation and your attitude's different, kind of gives you an idea of where you're at also. Okay. just little ways that I used to use to kind of determine how much I've grown or how much I've changed, how my thinking has changed. Any other questions, online or in class? Is everybody in class kind of looking around? And we can go into class. I got class. I just want to make sure give people an opportunity to say something if they want to. I'm trying to give people a little bit of a, there's a little delay online. So if I don't get a response, then I'm just going to go. Going once?
It's like 11 seconds.
Is it? Okay. Going twice. Oh, it's not that long then. Okay, cool. The responses sometimes kick out a little later than. I didn't know the time was like that. Okay, we're going to start. Well, just so everybody know, class today is still about meditating, studying, and finding ways to properly study and finding ways to properly retain the information while you're studying. Because I think that's a very important thing also. I've noticed a lot of young Israelites, they'll study and read, but they won't get the what they need out of the scriptures. And sometimes they'll read the scriptures and they still won't find peace of mind. There's certain indicators we're going to go into that let you know that when you're reading and studying, it's actually working and it's sinking in. And I think we need to take our time to dwell and kind of explain the application of meditation. Because whenever I used to hear meditation, I would think about I'm sitting back here holding my little fingers and doing these chakra points. Can somebody get the door? And acting all super uber spiritual in the flying lotus position, or I don't know what the hell position that is. I'm just calling it flying lotus. Or sitting back here when you're folding Indian stance with no shoes on. You have to be shoeless to do it. Anyway, and you have to have linen on too. Linen and shoelessness to properly meditate. And the person, you got to meditate on the outside and on the grass. Does that make it different? That makes it more. That makes the information sink in your brain more. You have a clearer mind on grass, I guess. So anyway, it's not that type of meditation. We're kind of, yeah. You're opening multiple eyes and whatever the hell the case is. And your colors turn from blue to purple. I don't know what that means either. But point is, what we're going to go into in class kind of gives clarity on meditation, studying, and the grasping of information. And that's why we want to kind of dig into these points. So the first verse we're going to go into is Psalms, chapter 63, verse 6. Psalms, chapter 63, and verse 6, 7, and 5.
Psalms, chapter 63, and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Reads, when I remember thee upon my bed, and meditate on thee in the night watches.
So one of the first things that we have to start doing is how do we remember the Most High when we're on our bed? That's a real question. When you lay down at night, how do you look? How do you think about the Most High? How do you meditate on the Most High when you lay down at night? Because I've noticed in people, a lot of Israelite brothers and sisters, they can kind of fake it in the daytime, but at nighttime is when all the demons kick out. Nighttime is when all the anger, the unhappiness, the sadness, the frustration, and the why is me, and why is my life as such starts to kick in a person's mind at night. Why at night? It's because that's the time when it's the most quietest. There's less hustle and bustle. There's less things going on at night. So night would be the time when the opportunity to think negative really is at its strength and at its peak. Am I right? Okay. So it says, when I remember thee on my bed and meditate on thee in the night watches. What does that mean? It's explaining to us that it is our responsibility to meditate on the Most High when I have my leisure time. Our leisure time most of the time is on our night watches, the latter half of the day. It's very difficult sometimes to get in the book during lunch or in the middle of the day because there's too much crap going on. In an optimal scenario, the night watches could mean right before you go to sleep or right before you get up in the morning. whatever the time is at that time of peace and quiet. And how hard am I working to meditate and to give my mind to these scriptures? And we went over a definition about meditation last Monday. Let me try to get back to it if possible. I don't have the brother next to me to kind of talk while I'm looking, so just be patient with me while I'm looking up this word. But I did do it. Okay, meditate. To dwell on anything in thought, to contemplate, to study, to turn or revolve any subject in the mind. When you're at home, when it's nighttime, where is our mindset at, and how hard do we work to maintain a pure outlook during the quietness of the night, when all you got to do is think about you and your life and your circumstances? Because I'm telling you from experience and from other people's experiences, the night is that witching hour when everybody's outlook starts going sour. Yes, Nagaha.
You said meditate was the act of overcoming the mind and turning any subject in the mind.
Exactly. So that was the action word of the meditation. The action word of the meditation was that changing and the controlling of one thought to take it to the thought where you want it to be. Okay? And that is literally the living application of how to apply this word to benefit you in life versus sitting back here. Because either you're going to sit back here and see the power in serving the Most High, the power of following Him, or you're going to look at the Most High as a tyrant, like the Israelites in the wilderness did. They might have called Moses a tyrant, but they were really saying the Most High was a tyrant, and the Most High was unjust and unfair. And one of the keys to lasting and serving the Most High is to get to the point where you can always see that the Most High is fair and just, and His intention is always to do the best for me, to help me in my life. It's going to explain that. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. Because thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice.
The mindset that we're supposed to have is that the Most High is always my help. And the question that's going to always reoccur in our life is, can I successfully remind myself that the Most High has always been my help, and that therefore in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice? What does that mean? In the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice.
It's protection.
Exactly. It's the constant acknowledging that the Most High is hovering over us and protecting us. So it kind of also gives us the mindset that we have to have going into studying. How many times have you studied and you're angry? How many times have you studied and you were angry, and then you want to sit back here and read and think that just by reading, that negative was going to pop off of you? We do that a lot too.
Yeah.
And you'll wonder why the message doesn't stick. One thing we have to understand is even when it comes to prayer, this is a different point. But what does the scripture say about praying? What are you supposed to do before you pray?
You're supposed to get a right state of mind. Understand.
The verse that says that, it says, before thou prayest, prepare thyself. Right? So before I even ask for anything in the eyes of the Father, I have to be in the right mindset before I even put myself in a position to request anything. Right? It's the same thing with studying. Before you start studying and meditating, you better be in the mindset of embracing the fact that the Most High is spreading His wings over you. And that, can I rejoice over the fact that the Most High's shadow is over me? And can I be appreciative of that? Because a lot of times we're so caught up in what we don't get, what we don't have, we forget that the Most High daily loads us with benefits. But what are the benefits? The benefits is His protection.
Peace of mind.
But the peace of mind only comes when you know and trust that His protection is over you. So whatever I'm going through, I have to always keep that in mind. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. If I'm not in the mindset of looking for the good, I'm not going to find the good in the book. There's a scripture in, if I'm not mistaken, shalom everybody online. If I'm not mistaken, there is a verse that talks about how the Most High will turn you over to your own devices, right?
Give you all to this.
Yes, you're saying it. It was a
It's a D word, right?
yes, it's a D word. I just can't get the word out of my mind, or I can't get it out of my mouth. It's not dispensation. It is a
Delusion.
It's a strong delusion. I don't know. It's not strong delusion. It's not delusion, but it's in that. And look for it. But it just talks about how if your mind is negative, he's going to let you go and give yourself to that negative mindset, and you're going to find whatever you want in the Bible to justify your negativity. It's not reprobate, but we'll get to it. If you find it, we'll stop by. But it's showing you if my intentions aren't pure and my outlook isn't pure, it doesn't matter if I'm studying or not. I'm going to look in the book to justify whatever mindset I'm in, and that's toxic anyway. Okay, it's not reprobate. It's another one. I think it's in Thessalonians. I think it's in Thessalonians 2. It's in 1st or 2nd Thessalonians 2 that explains it. I know it's chapter 2. I'm not sure if it is in the second one or first one. Let me see. Or it might not be 2. Anyway, that's okay. We'll find another time. But give me verse 5. Give me verse 5.
Verse 5. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness.
Once again, this is important, and I want to jump to verse 5 last because it's dealing with satisfaction. Can I sit back here and be satisfied with what the Most High has given me? Can I be satisfied with the Most High's protection? Half the time, why does a man's outlook turn negative or left, or a woman's outlook turn negative or left? It's because they're not satisfied. And whatever life has presented them, there is dissatisfaction, there's a lack of appreciation, and whatever you're lacking at the time makes a person tell themselves that everything they're going through isn't worth it. But as I'm starting to study, as I'm starting to go back into the book again, I have to have the proper mindset to equip myself to even receive the information that I'm about to read. Is what I'm saying making sense?
God.
So before you study and meditate, my mindset has to be prepared to see the good and the beauty in what the Most High has provided me before I can even start really getting a greater understanding of these scriptures. Because if your outlook is cloudy, if your outlook is negative, if you can't see the good in your life, then there's only so much you're going to get through the scriptures. There's only going to be so much you get from the understanding of the scriptures. And those are facts. And he's trying to show you, don't forget, David was a man after who? The Most High's own heart, his own mind. David was a man after the Most High's mind. So I think we should be reading about David and how he thought and looked at the Most High. Because how he looked at the Most High and how he looked at his circumstances was a template of how we should look at the Most High through our disorganization or our battles or in our life. So my soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness. I mean, you have to see, can you sit back here and meditate on how the Most High has provided you with the things you've needed? Can I sit back here and look at myself and say, man, the Most High has been there for me. Let me count the ways how he's been there for me and taken care of me and made my spirit fat and whole. If you can't learn to process your thinking that direction, the next steps forward in reading and application is going to be subpar. You're not going to get the most out of your experience in this truth if you can't learn to start thinking on that mental plane. Another verse to kind of go on with that is Psalms chapter 77 Psalms chapter 77, verse, let me see real quick. Psalm 77, verse 11 through, hold on, let me finish it, through 14. Psalm 77, verses 11 through 14. What we're going to find out, a lot of verses on outlook, meditation, and studying is right here in Psalms. And it gives you an idea of the mindset you have to even, as you're thinking about the Most High, and how you're meditating on the Most High, and how you're processing His way. So, I want Psalm chapter 77.
Psalms chapter 77,
verse 11. Hold on.
It was derision, by the way.
Is it derision? Well, what verse was it?
It was in Psalms.
No, that's not the one I wanted. There's one in there's literally one in Thessalonians. I know it's in Thessalonians. I'm wrong about the location of it, but let's keep going. We'll find it one day. I'll find it after class.
Psalms chapter 77, verse 11 reads, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old.
Listen. A lot of times you read this verse in these chapters, and it sounds poetic, and it's flowing, and it's clean, and it's nice. But this verse hits. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. We talked about this a few days ago about testimonies and holding on to testimonies. This is in the same vein. How well you remember the many times the Most High came through for you will determine how stable and consistent and happy you could be with the Most High moving forward. We read it earlier in Ecclesiastes, like I think on Saturday, and I think Nagaha pulled the verse, how it said that I pulled it. I think it was Ecclesiastes 11 and 21. I'm gonna read it real quick. Ecclesiastes 11 and 21 or 11 and 25. It said, "In the day of prosperity, there is a forgiveness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity." And that's where Israel starts to go left. In the day of affliction, we can't forget prosperity. In the day of affliction, we can't forget when the Most High was there for us, when He looked after us, when He protected us. And this is what's happening as we're reading in Psalms chapter 77. Don't forget, Psalms, a lot of it was about all the times David was in caves, all the times that Saul was trying to kill him, all the times that David was rock bottom, all the times that David, Shalom Dawiyah, my brother, he's here. The man of the hour is here.
Hey,
Yes.
You know what? Also, too, speaking of David,
He's on. He's just right just prepared.
I'm ready, man.
Man, this guy's going 100 miles an hour.
Listen.
Wow.
Speaking, well, you have brought up a good point. We are dealing with
This guy's on
remembering
fire.
all those good times. We're really having to remember the mechanics
Yes.
that we had when the Most High was with us. It's very easy to forget why the Most High loves you.
Yes.
Because what happens in the truth is you're working, busting your ass, giving your spirit, you're on fire for Christ, then you get distracted by your personal life, you take some losses, get some family problems, marriage problems, financial problems, personal problems, maybe health problems. And you're so focused on your problems, you start to forget little by little what the Most High liked about your spirit and what you had to do mechanically to keep Him looking out for you.
And when he says mechanically, he's just talking about what's the spiritual procedure that you were in? What was the mindset you were in to get the blessings?
First love.
Well, it was first love, but there was a mindset behind your first love. How hard were you working when you got blessed? How pure and single-minded in intention were you when you were trying to seek the Most High? How pure was your intention? Were you able to see the good in everything you went through? How hard did you work to be a brother or a sister?
I remember this time when brothers had like this almost innocent childlike faith.
Yes.
Where whatever they were told, they believed it. Like the sky.
And they saw the good in it.
The sky was purple. The sky is purple. If we don't get 1,000 foreskins from 1,000 Philistines, I gotta do it, brother.
It's gonna happen. It's meant to happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's meant to happen.
Whatever you were told,
No,
the blessing's gonna happen because Abba Hashem Yahweh Shai
brother. Hey, don't say no Mashiach.
Nah, I'm
They
not gonna
weren't
say
saying
that.
that back in
the
those
day, we
days.
didn't say that.
Yes.
But because of that, because Christ is black, you know you're Israelite. You know, there was nothing he wasn't willing to do.
Yep.
But we become very calculate. We calculate how much risk, how much loss we're willing to accept over time.
And then we start to lose because we get
Exactly.
calculated.
That
Because listen, there is a certain template the Most High gives us to get His attention. There's a certain mindset you have to have. There's a certain level of work ethic that you have to invest into working on you to get the Heavenly Father's attention. And the crazy thing is, when you first came in, you were working like hell to make changes inside of you. You were cutting off this food, changing out, going out to the club, changing this, changing that. And all of a sudden, once you get a hold of those basic scenarios, now what are you changing? And when you stop changing, then all of a sudden you realize the blessings stop flowing. You stop feeling energized. You stop feeling on top.
you stop getting the same response. You start getting that immediate response. The Most High is gonna bless you as soon as you fight for something.
Yes.
Those blessings, you always bring up war. Those blessings start to little by little take longer and longer to attain. You come in the true beginning, money out of nowhere, ribs out of nowhere, vehicles out of nowhere, doors open up, things work out.
There's confirmations that let you know this is the truth. There's confirmations that let you know what you're doing is the right thing. And then all of a sudden they slow down. And then if you don't remember the mindset you were in to grow and change, you'll fizz out. Or if you don't surround yourself around people who can keep showing you that template, you fizz out.
It's like a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
In a relationship, everybody, great conversationalists, great listeners. Everybody is such a great person.
Oh, for real?
Oh, what, man?
That happened?
You love what?
You gotta tell your boss this.
What made you like that movie? I like that movie too, though.
Wow.
That's a great actor.
That's
Like,
deep.
you give a damn, so you care about everything they say.
You don't really care, but you, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
3
with
years
you.
later, it's like, who can? I don't want some kind of movies. But you love these movies. You love comedy. No, I don't like comedy. I don't like YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
You only like YouTube? That's horrible.
I don't want to watch movies. Like, the real person comes out, and that level of interest isn't there. We play the Most High the same way.
Exactly.
Oh, what scripture was that? That's an amazing scripture. Let's see if you think like that 3 years from now when you heard all the scriptures and like you got cut a million times and you've done all these changes, but you know you're just in a slump. Oh, new scripture? Oh wow. Okay, that's a powerful scripture.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
That happens too.
A lot of us get into that slump, so to speak. A lot of us get into that slump because we think we've already heard all the breakdowns in classes. How many of us have done that? I've heard this breakdown. Okay, we're gonna go to Sword of Truth class and hear about change again.
Part 17.
Listen, we're gonna go to Sword of Truth class, and I came for the Sabbath class, and now I'm getting ripped in Sabbath class about how I'm not doing enough. Thanks for war. I thought I just came here for the Shabbat. All right, all I came for was to hear horns and prayers
In Hebrew.
and verses recited. That's what I came to hear. Now you want to make this a lesson. You want to take this concept and whip it around and take it down Main Street to show me I'm off. Okay, I get it. I'm
Nothing's ever
off.
good enough.
I
How
have
about
to
that?
change.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's how people get. But the crazy thing is, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that we tell ourselves we've got the information, we've learned all these concepts. There's nothing more to learn. There's nothing, or there's. I'm telling you, I've dealt with brothers and sisters. I heard that class. I've got this in my notebook.
It's
I
like
got
a
that
college course.
class
It's like
in
a
the
college
notebook.
course.
I've met a lot of people like that. I've got those breakdowns. I got those classes. And then all of a sudden, once you make that statement, you're telling yourself, that's as far as it goes. But I can tell you for a fact, I'm learning new things every day, B. Every time I go back in this book, there's something more there. There's always more meat on the bone, so to speak. If you're in the practice and application of working on what you're inside. The crazy thing, it's got to be a combination of things. Now, I was talking to one of the brothers earlier about growth. Growth has to come from a myriad of things. I have to be able to sit back and study, apply, learn. Then I have to be around people that bring different elements of me. That being around certain people brings certain things out of me. People don't want to realize that. If I'm in my cocoon, in my room or my house, and I'm not around people in my cocoon,
My sealed place. Yeah.
or my glass house,
Yeah.
then if I have all these situations around me controlled, I will be able to control everything around me. I don't learn anything. But when you're around the sick, you're around your people, they show you that you're not as patient as you thought you were. You're not as merciful as you thought you were. You're not as kind as you thought you were. You don't have as much patience as you thought you were. You have jealousy in you. You have strife in you. You have hatred in you. You have problems seeing the good in people.
Your faith is up and down.
You're
inconsistent.
Exactly.
That's one thing people teach.
and
People show me that all the time.
And your example is inconsistent.
Yeah, people show me. There's time I think I have this bomb faith. I got this superhuman faith. And that's the time like, man, your faith needs work. Your faith needs to go back to the mechanic guy. Back to the mechanic shop.
Yeah.
You need an oil change. You need an oil. You need to get your system. You need to clean your engine again. You gotta start all over from scratch.
Yep.
And rebuild your faith again, because your faith was good for like a year ago,
Yes.
but it's not good 2021.
Yep. Exactly. So let's get back to Psalm 77 and 11.
God. Psalms chapter 77, verse 11 reads from the top. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely,
Matter of fact, man, this is phenomenal.
surely,
Read verse 6.
verse 6. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search.
Mm-hmm.
Will the Lord cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doeth his promise fail forevermore?
Well, first of all, is this how we think? Listen, this is David at his lowest. This is David at his lowest. And when David is at his lowest, what is he saying? Will the Lord cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Do we think like that when we're at our lowest? Do we sit back here and say, man, is the Most High just done with me? Is he just turn his back forever on me? Is that how we think? How do we think when we're rock bottom? This is bullshit. This ain't fair. What I'm going through is
No one's ever been through
nobody's.
this.
This is supernatural hell.
No one's ever been through this situation.
It's supernatural hell
I'm the first Israelite
ever.
to go through this.
I'm going through the trial. Everybody goes through the trials of Job.
Huh.
Everybody's going through the trials of Job, and you're so sad and unhappy and you're angry. David at his lowest, like, man, is the Most High never gonna come back and be there for me? What did I do? Even him at his lowest, when he's doubting, it's like, damn, what did I do for the Most High to turn his back on me forever? He's showing that's the mindset we have to have. You know what the mindset David has? It's not the Most High is unfair, or my life is unfair, or what I'm going through is unfair. It's, damn, is he gonna never come back to me? What did I do to piss him off? What was wrong with my mindset for him to abandon me?
I'm afraid to lose the Most High's.
Exactly,
Presence.
but the mindset is the mindset is I'm not even going to entertain the fact that the Most High is not fair. I'm not even going to entertain the fact that what I'm going through is unfair,
True.
and I'm being treated like crap. He's not saying that. That's not what he's thinking. He's saying, damn, is Most High going to just stay away from me forever? What do I got to do to get the Most High back in my good graces, in his good graces? What do I got to do to get back right with him? I'm going to go into Psalms 19, and it's going to fill in a lot of these blanks, because it's going to show you the mindset that we have to have when we're approaching him and dealing with him. There's got to be a changing of the mindset, how we look at our circumstances, how we look at the Heavenly Father, if we want good things to happen to us. When David was at his lowest, What do you say in verse 8?
Verse 8. Is his mercy clean, gone forever?
He's just saying, damn, is the Most High did stop caring about me? Did he stop being merciful with me? Meaning, it's still the mindset of what do I have to do to regain the attention of the Heavenly Father?
Now, how many of us think like that?
That's when we start going left, we don't sit back and say, damn, what have I done for the Most High to be so distant to me? We're like, the Most High is unfair. My husband's unfair. What I'm going through is crappy. Why am I going through these
I
conditions?
did everything right.
Why have I lost this and lost? I ain't done nothing wrong. Yes, sis.
Why does he feel that way? Just
Don't forget, when you read about David, and we'll be going through all the Old Testament, but David was anointed king by Samuel. Samuel anointed David king. But Saul was still the king of Israel when the Most High appointed David to be the king. So what ended up happening is Saul ended up trying to kill David and trying to send men. So pretty much at this time, David was on the run in caves. He couldn't see his wife. He was on the run. Him and his men were constantly struggling to survive, to eat. They had a death warrant on
He
him.
was an enemy of the state.
He was an enemy. He was straight Will Smith. Worse than Will Smith. Everybody knows that enemy of the state. He was like Will Smith, enemy of the state. And everywhere he went, he was a marked man. To where at a certain period of time, he had to live with the Philistines
Right.
to hide
Yeah.
from the Jews that were trying to kill him.
Right.
Remember,
His life was in straight shambles, and he did nothing wrong.
He served him.
But he didn't sit back here and say, "This is jacked up. You chose me to be the king, and I'm not the king. Now I'm on the run. You showed me to be the king. I got a crappy deal, Father."
Can I say this?
Yep.
It's that scenario that we all go through when you see, I'm coming to the truth, Most High bless me, I know the knowledge of the Most High. Everything's supposed to get better. I'm supposed to have a Bentley now and a nice house.
Who
And,
said that?
well, I said it, man, when I was young.
I am in the truth.
I thought when you come to the
Listen. If you're in the truth,
you get the
according to
Bentley
my brother, back when he was
My
as
youth.
a trooper,
as a trooper.
you was the whole camp was supposed to be Bentley's laced out.
Everybody was riding nice. Like, everybody's riding nice. Everybody's living good. Because we get the truth. We're past the curse. The curses are over. What's next? The curses are
That's the
over.
truth. Listen, what
The
are you
curses are
saying?
over.
People say that.
So, go ahead.
The
No, I was
curses
gonna say,
are
I
over.
remember-
Curses are no more.
Yeah, listen.
No, I was gonna say I remember him saying that he saw a brother with expensive car. I don't know.
Your brothers had.
Bentleys, actually.
Brothers have had. There's some brothers that have
One brother had a Bentley.
One, not every
brother
brother.
had a Bentley.
But I'm saying this:
It was
you
too much.
come into the knowledge of and you see all this powerful wisdom. You think you can do anything? What can't we do?
Yeah.
We can do anything, huh? We can do it. We can take it over right
And
now.
the first thing you think about when doing anything is
Yeah.
Bentleys.
I was gonna get a favor.
Money, cars,
I'm still to the
clothes.
Most High.
Money, cars, clothes. Boom, boom.
Look. I'm gonna sit the Most High. I'm gonna ride really, really good, and we're gonna be balling out of control, cause we got the knowledge, huh?
Yeah.
The curses are over, huh?
The curse is over.
White man's going
Rejoice.
down.
Rejoice.
He's going down. The devil's going. So you start getting hyped about off that, and you start thinking that, you know what, it's become super masculine, super confident, and then you're like, if you're not in the truth, you're fucking crazy. Telling your friends they're crazy, cutting them off, and then you look up, and time goes by, and your friends in high school, start balling in Bentleys, they start making music videos, they start living really, really good. You're not living really, really good. You realize the truth. Most I didn't promise you a heaven on earth like that. He didn't promise you your fantasy on earth.
Yeah.
Women come into a marriage. I'm married. I expect a fantasy.
Yeah.
Men get a rib. Oh, she's gonna be this perfect rib.
Yeah.
They have a fantasy. You come in the truth. All these spiritual people, they're all nice and they're all quoting scriptures.
You're right.
No one's gonna piss me off.
This is family. This is
Wow,
family.
that's
Because Israel be thinking that. It's all love. It's all brotherhood. It's
Everybody,
all
the
sisterhood.
barbecue chicken tastes so good.
Listen, the unity.
Yeah, unity.
Unity.
Everybody-
UNITY.
Unity's there. There's structure. Everybody's in order. Ribs, heads are wrapped.
That's
Brothers are
awesome.
saying, "Yahweh, ribs is getting Hebrew rock." You're like in the kingdom when you're brand new, huh?
Yes, you're right.
And then you realize,
Well, this
hold
is
on,
sick
this
ass
this
SOBs
is
out here.
not
bro.
what I thought I was coming into.
Yeah.
So you think when David goes outside, said he gonna send Samuel out to anoint him out? He was chosen out the sheepfold out.
Yes.
He got a throne. Saul promised him a rib. He
Yeah.
just killed Goliath.
And he was the number 2 man under Saul.
He's number 2. And then one day you wake up and everything
And
changes.
then Saul is throwing javelins at you, trying to kill you, trying to sit back
Playing
here,
around to play the harp.
trying to kill you twice.
Calm the spirit down.
So now he's on the road, running. Everybody's trying to kill him. God.
Everything. You look. We wake up and everything changed. And the question: Are you still on the Most High?
And
Because
whoa, if you're still serving the Most High, this means, am I going to be able to maintain the purity of how I look at the Most High, what I'm doing?
Yeah.
It's what he said. Everybody in Israel didn't think there was Bentleys,
Yeah.
but I get his point. The point is, we all had this idea of what the nation of Israel would be,
Yeah.
or this mighty, powerful nation of the Jews.
Yeah.
And then you sit back and come to the reality of it, it's like, wow, we are lacking on many levels. But the point is, and what was so powerful from what we're reading even in Psalms, is even when David was rock bottom in the caves, stressing out in Psalm 77, the worst he said was, damn, has the Most High just given up his mercy on me and turned his back on me? What did pretty much saying, what did I do to the Most High for him to turn his back on me? It was never, damn, this is a jacked up deal you gave me. You did me wrong. You're not fair to Yahweh. You put me through things I can't go through. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
He's showing you that is the standard of the mindset that we all must hold on to if we really want the Most High on our side.
God.
Let's continue.
God. Verse 8. Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doeth his promise fail forevermore? Have the Most High forgotten to be gracious?
He said the Most High wasn't fair. He's just saying, damn, the Most High just forgot me. What did I do to get forgotten? And this is David at rock bottom. Read on.
Have he in anger shut up his tender mercies?
Mm-hmm.
Salah. I said, this is my infirmity.
And this is David said, this is my battle. This is me getting in the middle of my battle in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he do to neutralize negative thoughts? Because there's still negative thoughts. It's just in comparison to our negative thoughts, they're not even close. Because the depth of his negative thoughts was, damn, did the Most High forget me permanently? Did he permanently turn his back on me? Like I'm a wicked ass dude? But he says, this was the mindset of me when I was in my infirmity, in my mental and spiritual sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Read on.
God. But I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High.
He says, but instead of overly focusing on the thought that I think the Most High has turned his back on me, or he's forgotten me, or my life isn't fair, David said, I choose to focus or to remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. What does that mean? We have an obligation to remember the times when the Most High was there for us. And we have an obligation or responsibility to remember the times the Most High has been there for us, and the time the Most High has been there for Israel when they did nothing wrong. This is how you neutralize your negative outlook. So reading and meditating the scriptures can actually take root. Because what I was going, I was explaining that in the beginning of class that people can study and read, but if you don't study and read in the right mindset, it's not going to take root in you. How can you read the Bible and study when you're angry and full of bitterness from the inside?
That's the point. If I'm loving the Most High with an angry heart, I'm not really loving the way he wants to.
And you're not getting the understanding, and you're not going to get the message the Most High is trying to deliver to you.
And I always tell brothers, I said, wisdom won't enter to a malicious spirit. I quote it 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
But I quote it because you get the understanding
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the spirit that he wants you to be in to get the understanding. You're not getting it just because you open the book. You're not getting it just because you're in class.
Or you try to read and flip through some damn pages when you're angry.
He's not going to
Because
get
I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
They're going through things, they're pissed, they're dejected, and they read and they wonder why it doesn't stick. The meditation starts when you choose to remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. You have to choose that mindset. Do I choose to say, man, you know what? Let me focus on when the Most High has been there for me. Let me count the times the Most High has protected me.
That's the opposite of a skeptical mindset.
Exactly.
Because what happens, to tell you the truth, when we're reading and we're dealing with life issues, we become very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're reading the Bible like, okay, yeah, there's blessings here. Most High loves Israel. I know He does.
That was just Moses.
Yeah.
I can see the blessings go through Moses.
Israel's in the curses again. Here
Not
comes
me.
Christ. Christ is here. He died for me. Okay, and Paul wants me to just, believe no matter what. Listen, you're not going to learn anything. That's what people do. When you're skeptical,
Believe no matter what.
yeah, believe no matter what.
Who does that? Raise your hand if you say that.
You don't know.
Even on TV land, you sit back and do that. I'm gonna believe no matter what.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Believe no matter what. Come to class. Cool. Bible. But when you're going through something, it's not easy to be like, you know what? Okay, the Most High is dipping me. We used to call it dip back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm getting dipped. That means I'm temporarily in the fire, and He's making me better. It wasn't to destroy me. Sometimes Israel has the mindset the Most High is trying to destroy me.
Or the Most High is just not fair.
God.
What? Yes, sir. What you got?
Ecclesiastes 11:25.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah, see?
At least you're on track.
Thank you,
man.
man.
I
Thank you,
like
my
mine,
friend. He went there. Hey, it's good stuff.
So what you're saying is that the Most High, we have to hold on to.
We have to stop getting mystical.
Mhm.
There is a level of proactiveness that each individual one of us has to choose before they start reading and getting their minds right. A lot of us get mystical and religious and think we can just read the Bible and read verses and all of a sudden, voila, things work out. Who's thought that before?
Oh, wow.
Or listen, if I listen to class on YouTube, the Spirit will cleanse my soul. And I will be cleansed with the
Yes.
soul and the purging to the YouTube
I'll be
shows.
revelated.
And I will be happy because I listened to YouTube. And I let it play while I was washing dishes.
That's not gonna happen.
That shit happens, you know. I'm doing chores
The dishes
and
are
I'm playing
clean. They're really
class.
clean though.
I play class, I do dishes and do chores. The Spirit has cleansed me. That's not how it works. You don't grow that way.
That's wow.
Listen, you know it's the case.
That's real.
People think he is playing like it's some damn propaganda that's playing in the damn house loud as hell and it's gonna stick in.
All bad spirits must leave. Because class is on right now. All bad spirits gotta get in order or get out of here.
Back in like World War II, so they play propaganda. They keep playing the same shit over and over again.
You cannot escape.
Yeah. America is kaput.
Yeah.
I sit back and say stupid things on the damn loudspeaker. The point is that yes, you're supposed to have class on. You're supposed to be listening to the scriptures. But once you listen to the scriptures, you gotta, we went over there, Ecclesiastes 11:25. But you gotta sit back and take these scriptures, and before you start digging in the book, I gotta start working on my mind, remembering all the times the Most High has been there for me. That is what the meditation. This is how you start to self-correct.
Yeah.
Before I start filling my mind with scriptures, I got to prepare my mind to receive the information so it sticks. Read verse 11.
Come on, verse 11.
It's Psalm 77, verse 11.
Come on, Psalms chapter 77, verse 11 reads, I will remember the works of the Lord.
You have to remember how the Most High has been to work for you, how He's looked after you. And you have to constantly be in this mindset that He's been there for you, protecting you, looking after you. Read on.
Surely I will remember thy wonders of old.
You can't forget how He's taken you from this filthy position and got you to this point.
God.
And you have to sit back here and constantly remember and go back in history when you wasn't nothing, when you just knew this word. And remember how the Most High continued to come through for you. How do I know that's true? When you guys read Maccabees, whenever everybody sit back here and have this bomb-ass war with some insane numbers versus some small little tiny numbers, what did the Maccabees always say? They always go back to the past. And how the Most High always looked after us from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob to present day.
God.
And he go through all these stories and victories about when you do things the right way, He defends you. How can we understand that in that time, but we don't use it in our time? You got to remember when the first time you had faith, and when you had faith, when you did it right, how did the Most High bless you? When the time when you were doubting, and you just had to trust. in the Most High, trust in counsel, trust in your husband when it worked. Can you forget that? Do you forget that, or do you remember those things? You can't be a forgetful hearer. You can't forget the experiences when the Most High had came through for you to look after you.
Okay.
And then if I start to build on that momentum, now I can study. And now I can start seeing the good and the beauty in the Most High. I can see the positivity in what I'm reading now. Now I regain hope. But you got to go back in the past to sustain you with what's coming in front of you.
Yes. We used to call it back in the day. We used to call it brothers foundations,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to say, "What are you building your foundation on?" Remember, the scripture said that one man built his house on a rock,
Yep.
Another man built his house on sand. But was it a physical rock? No. Was it physical sand? No. Sand just represents something that's not stable that you can't build on. So that rock, we always said when we studied, when we taught this class, this information, that rock was all your victories in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to constantly. I will always remember years ago when we had a school, we had our own building, and we had taxes, of course, and if we didn't pay his taxes, we didn't have a building.
Yep.
So I remember we sold raffle tickets. That's how we survived. We used to sell $2 tickets in the street all day, all night. And I remember I remember one day it was raining really, really, really bad. It was raining and raining.
Yeah.
And then I would give the tickets out, and this lady said, why don't you get a real job? And it was really bad. It was really I looked like I was a homeless. You know what I'm saying? And she slammed the door on me. Boom! She slammed the door real hard, and I was just like, I'm just trying to serve Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was gonna be like, why is the truth so hard? You know what I'm saying? Like I came to a Bible school. Now I'm sitting here selling raffle tickets in the rain, right? But I had at that moment when she slammed the door in my face, I had a choice. Do I stop believing what I'm doing? And this is when I'm young. Like it's not like a whole bunch of scriptures in my head. Do I stop believing when I'm young, or do I go across the street and go even harder because I know I'm not doing the wrong thing?
Yes.
And so I was in front of Walgreens. I walked across the street and I went right inside a Chinese nail salon, soaking wet. There's all these Chinese people plugging up nails out. I'll never forget this.
What's this black man doing
This
in
is
this
the first
store?
time I used faith. Like I remember using faith. I walked in and walked this lady. She was getting her nails done. I said, $2 raffle tickets for the school. We're trying to help da. And she pulled out like a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And it wasn't no $2. She pulled out a whole lot of money. And I remember the Most High blessed me because I didn't let that discouragement break me. So
Listen. That is one of those testimonial situations that you never let go of. Those are some foundational concepts that each and every one of us have to seek in our life to remember that this is the truth, that the Most High is real. How many of those things do you guys have in yourself to sit back and fall back on during difficult times? All of us need it. All of us need those testimonies or testimonies similar to his. When you hit rock bottom, or it is perceived that you hit rock bottom, and you continue moving forward, and you show you see the Most High being real. And then once it happens to you, you have to always hold on to it and never forget it.
that was my first, I actually saw the Most High was real, right? So whenever things get bad in the truth, it could be like 20 years later. I'm going to go back to when I had raffle tickets.
Hell yeah, I'm telling you.
I always do that.
You got to. Just like when I sit back here, I go back to this. I had 2 duffel bags to my damn name, leaving Cali right after I left high school. And that's all I had, bro. It was two damn bags, and I went with these 2 black guys that said they was in the truth house. And they went to damn Albuquerque, New Mexico. I didn't really know these dudes. I didn't know them. One dude just came with the driver that came from Albuquerque to come up to LA and then go back to Albuquerque. And the other guy I knew in class, these dudes weren't people I knew for years. I'm this 18-year-old kid with 2 bags. Like, I'm just going to go follow the truth and follow these people over to Albuquerque. But I say this, and it was the biggest faith move in my life. And without that move, I would have never seen the power of the Heavenly Father. And with that sacrifice, I look at a kid with 2 duffel bags, and look what the Most High's done with him from I left home in 96. I look at myself now. That's my first remember moment that I never forget. The faith it took to let go of whatever aspirations I had in my life, whatever goals I wanted in my life, and I threw it away for this. And I will never regret making that decision. This is the greatest thing you can do for your people. If you're looking to do something for your people, it doesn't get any greater than living your life and losing your life so that other people can have a chance in life. Because that's what you're doing. When you're saying about here and commit your life to this, you're throwing your life away so that dozens and hundreds of people can have an opportunity in life. And can you be okay with that? Because I surely am okay with that. And I've seen how the Most High has been there for me because of what I've given up. And that is the power of the Most High. But those things you just don't forget. So when you're going through difficulties, if you looked after this snide-nosed kid back when he was 18, and he got to this point, it don't matter what the hell I'm going through. This ain't shit compared to that. And I can go through 3 and 4 and 5 scenarios very similar where the Most High say, you know what? Don't forget this moment. I don't know if y'all have experienced that. There's scenarios where that were so impactful. The Spirit says, don't forget this moment. You have to hold on to this for the rest of your life.
That's your highlight film.
Listen,
That's your highlight film.
you can call them testimonies, highlight films. You better hold on to them because you need those when your back's against the wall and you feel the Most High has turned his back on you. When you feel that you're out there exposed. You got to have those reminders because the Most High prepares you for this time where you feel alone, for other times when you felt that you were alone. Because when I sat back here and I left home, I felt alone. I thought I was all by myself. My family had turned their back on me. It was just me. I was being told I'm making the worst decision of my life. My parents were sitting back here holding my leg saying, don't leave, crying.
That's crazy.
It was the worst shit ever.
That's a bad
The
shit.
last day when I left home, I was at beef with my brother. My mother was begging me not to leave. It was a somber day in the War household. But I got the hell out of here, and I made the best move I could have ever made in my life. But it didn't feel that way at the time. I feel like I was losing everything. But those scenarios is what you need to get you through to overcome the next scenario that feels that way. But what happens if I would have forgot to discarded that concept? I would have got buried and broke the next battle that came to me. You can't forget those milestone steps that you had to have faith. You had to just cleave to him because he was the only person you had left. Use those testimonies to get you to the next battle. So when you feel lost, when you feel down, when you feel broken, when you feel abandoned, you can go back to that point to get you strong. Then you study. Then you read to fortify on top of those concepts that you have to hold on to remind yourself the Most High is there for you. Anyway. Yes, you can.
And so it's like, I had wished I wrote down those moments because I had a lot of moments I forgot. I just I was just living my life and being young. I was moving around and stuff like that.
See, you just went against the class. I said the people not to forget.
No. You gotta remember.
We just told the people not to forget.
I remember the big ones, but there was a bunch of small ones too.
Yeah.
All the small ones, the Most High show, like people you're hungry all day and people just out of nowhere. You want some? You want buying just chicken wings and buying you pizza. You didn't want to tell nobody you was hungry.
Yeah.
But because you had to do your job, and people they just always come through with food out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I used to be scared to take food. They're trying to poison me because I'm in the truth. Thinking stupid. Thinking the overboard spy versus spy extreme.
Okay.
Everybody's watching.
Were you the white spy or the black spy?
I was black spy.
Okay. Spy versus spy was black versus white.
But you're thinking that the Most High knows your car breaks down, and then you go into a place and the dealership fixes your car then for free. Because the Most High put a spirit in the guy that I just like you, just like you.
I've forgotten some of them too. I'm just messing.
I'm saying but if you don't take time to really write down or hold on to or the word said meditate.
Yeah.
If you don't meditate, you're gonna forget.
And you can't forget those times when the Most High was there for you. Listen. If you don't have those stories yet, that's why you have Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You hold on to theirs until you have your own, and then you have both. And the more of these stories these testimonies are confirmations that what you're doing is right, so that when things get difficult, you use that to not go backwards. You only go backwards to remind yourself when the Most High was there for you.
Not look backwards like
you want what you had in the past. You
Come.
look back and look it back when when you sat back and made sacrifices, when you committed this or sacrificed this or gave this up, the Most High was there for you.
because those testimonies are really about why you do it.
And this is how you stabilize your mind going forward.
Come.
Because all of us get lost from time to time. All of us sit back here and question, why should I have done this? Was this the best move for me? Was committing this, was this really the move for me? Or could I have done it different? Those testimonies remind you to say, you did it right, you did it perfect. Don't regret nothing. Be careful for nothing, like we talked about in Philippians 4 and 6. Well, let's continue to go in Psalm 77 in verse
12.
Give me 11 again.
Verse 11 reads, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work and talk of thy doing.
So once you start remembering the times of the past, now you got to continue to think about all the times the Most High has been there for you and all the times the Most High has been there for everybody that you've seen around you. And consistently talk about the power of the Most High's work. This is how you stabilize yourself. This is how you strengthen yourself. Read on.
Verse 13. Thy way, O power, is in the sanctuary, who is so great a power as our power. Thou art the Most High that doest wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people.
I'm going to let this go because it just goes into the flattery of the Most High, which is always the case. But he says, thou art the power that does wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength amongst the people. I want to go into this other chapter that kind of really heavily taps into this point. Matter of fact, before we go to where I want to go, let's go to Psalm 77, verse. Matter of fact, is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
I already went. I'm sorry. Then good. We go to the next one. Psalms 119.
All right.
This is where I really want to go. Psalms 119, and we're gonna jump throughout the chapter because this chapter is heavy, and I want to take my time on it. So we're gonna go into Psalms 119. We're gonna start at 1, and we're just gonna just bounce. It's a long ass chapter. I don't plan on going through all the verses, but we're gonna go through enough of them. And this chapter deals with meditation and how to be in the right mindset as you're approaching the Most High, praying to the Most High, reading about the Most High. So give me that Psalms 119 and 1.
Psalms 119 and verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart.
Listen, blessed are they that keep his testimonies. It's the person who can keep these scriptures, keep these stories, keep these concepts close to you. Keep the story, the concept, the resolution close to you. Too many times we're forgetful hearers. In the middle of our battle, we'll forget these scriptures that are meant to strengthen us. There's testimonies in ourselves, and there's testimonies in these scriptures that you hold on to. A lot of times when you read in Acts talks about the testimonies of the apostles all the time.
Yeah.
It's not just the scripture, it's a testimony. It's what is it that made me cling or cleave to Christ so heavily? And these are the things that I keep talking about to other people so that they can see the power of the Most High.
I gotta show this right here, bro. This is fire. This is fire. Keep, the word keep, right? Says to keep thy testimonies, right?
Okay.
It says to keep means to practice, to do, to perform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So always, the only way not to forget is to keep practicing the right way of doing things,
Yep.
right? Then it says to hold in any state. I'm not letting my situation or what I'm experiencing change me to make me deviate from what I did that worked.
Like, say that again, huh?
It's powerful. It says right here. This is the point 10 in 828. Keep. The word keep means to hold in any state.
Man,
A lot of times when Israel comes up, we forget our testimony because things are better.
Yeah.
We forgot what worked. Like I seen brothers study for 4 hours straight for days and days and days and days and days, and that's how they got to where they wanted to come to.
Yeah.
That's how they got to where they are. But then when they get a little comfort, little blessing, they forget everything they did to get where they're at.
Yeah.
They forgot that formula for success that Most High honored them. So it says to keep it, or some people get too low. I ain't gonna lie, it gets so low, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna read this Bible right
Listen,
now.
like I said, there's certain people when things are high, they don't read the book. There's certain people when they're too low, they don't read the book.
God.
You got different personalities function and deal in different ways. What Dawian is saying is that you have to be able to keep these testimonies, keep these reminders that the Most High is real, and that your decision for serving the Most High was the right decision. Because that's what keeping and holding these concepts is about. I have to keep reminding myself that choosing this path was the right play. Because this is what Satan is going to do to try to break every single one of us. What Satan's going to do is to tell you, why are you wasting your life? Why are you doing this? There's a lot easier way to serve the Most High than this. Why are you going through all this situation? This is overboard. Why are you killing yourself over this?
What's the point?
This is your mind going to keep doing that, but you need something to tether you in the battle, to tether you to continue to do good works. And it's the ability to hold on to these testimonies, whether things are going good in your life or things are going bad in your life.
I got to pull one more right here.
Please.
The definition says right here. It says to keep. The word keep also means to copy carefully. Because you had said earlier, which was smart, you got to look at other people's testimonies too. What
Yes.
Israel does, we start envying brothers and sisters. But if we get in the mindset of envying, you're missing the boat.
Yeah.
This person has a formula to show you how to succeed in an arena that you may not be good at.
And you better get off your ass and take notes.
God.
Why don't you sit back and see what he does better than you and then do that better? Because listen, when you're saying copy, you always pull this verse that the person who follows is a brilliant tracer.
God. Tracy.
Because to follow means to trace. And that's an Ecclesiasticus.
God.
And listen, if you want to sit back here, if I'm keeping the testimonies, I'm keeping my approach that works, and I'm sitting back and seeing everybody around me who does things better than me, and I'm tracing them. And I'm watching the people who make mistakes, and I'm making sure I don't do those mistakes. So in totality, you're growing by you fighting your battles and being a great studier of people. And that's how you continue to grow in this work. But he says, blessed are they that keep the testimonies. So if you're this person that keeps forgetting or doesn't take notes of how the Most High has been there for you, you're more than likely not going to be able to maintain your blessings. The person who keeps their blessings doesn't forget how they got blessed. Right?
God.
Read on.
Psalms 119 and verse 3. They also do no iniquity.
No, give me the second part, the B portion of verse 2.
Yeah.
The second part. All right, that's this guy right here. Read on.
Psalms 119, verse 2, B portion.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's
It's
read that.
easy. It makes it easier, right?
And that seek him with the whole heart.
So once again, you can't discount the fact that everything we're explaining to you on strategies of maintaining this testimony, in order to do it, you have to sit back here and have a total commitment to change. It takes a total commitment to fix what's inside of you, to take this type of work, to study this brother, study this brother,
It's crazy.
follow this person.
Come.
Don't do what this person says. Fix what's inside of you. It takes a whole heart, a whole mindset to do that. What you gonna say?
It's crazy. I didn't read this. It says keep. The word keep means to remain in the house, to be confined. We look for freedom and we fight for freedom, right? Not knowing that fight for liberty and freedom is how you forget your testimonies. It's how you forget
Damn.
what worked.
Damn.
That's crazy, bro.
Wait, say that. You got to go back and do that again, bro.
It
That's
says keep.
insane, bro.
It says right here. A portion says right here.
A portion.
Blessed is he that keepeth keep.
You should have said that, man. You should have just said
To
it
keep his
again.
testimony. I'm gonna keep say it again. Because to keep his testimonies, right?
Yeah.
Keep. This is right here. Keep. It says to remain. 8:28. It says to remain in the house, to be confined. So confined means I'm tied down and I have to constantly conform. I can't.
And you know,
I have no
you know what
liberty.
the tying down also deals with? It tells you it is prisoner, but the tying down of the confinement is dealing with. I have to. The battle is in not letting my mind play and fantasize with these other thoughts.
Yeah.
You have to understand that it talks about the heart is desperately wicked, right? The mind is desperately wicked. So if the mind is desperately wicked, when you sit back and study psychosis, when you study insanity, when you study bipolar nature, when you study the mind of a person who is unstable, it talks about that mind has that tendency to what? Wander. The mind wants to wander. The mind, and then if we're going to sit back and deal scripturally, the mind is trying to wander to justify the flesh. That's where the wandering goes. It ain't just wandering for no purpose. It's wandering to find a way out of the confinement. Your mind by nature is trying to tell yourself you made a bad decision to live a disciplined life. Your mind is going to sit back here and convince you and give you an educated thesis as to why what you're doing was a mistake and why you should seek more leisure and comfort. You have to understand your mind is your worst enemy. How you process things is your worst enemy. And in order to neutralize your mind, you have to crave to choose that confinement that the Most High is talking about in the spirit of keeping yourself.
I got the scripture to prove right here what you just said. Wisdom of Solomon 9 and verse 15. Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 15. It says, "For the corruptible body presses down the soul. The flesh is always at war with the spirit."
Let somebody else read that so
Okay.
it come out more clear.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
For the corruptible body presses
Go
down.
to verse 14.
Verse 14.
Where are we at? Wisdom of Solomon what?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable.
So naturally, our thoughts are going to go to a place of misery. Darkness, negative, doubt, skepticism. Read.
And our devices are but uncertain.
That thesis award said that we get these theses and these ideas about I can make my life better like this. The Bible says that device or our ideas are very uncertain.
Meaning unproven.
They're unproven.
They're unproven. They're not true. They're false. So our mind is going to sit back here and purposely find a false approach to get you to stop being and living in this confined situation. To try to get you away from keeping on top of your spirit.
God.
This is what the spirit versus the flesh is all about.
It's almost like the body has a will to survive.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
The
It's
flesh
not
has a
something.
will to survive. Yes. Because the scripture
It's
says
like an
the
actual-
flesh is
actual
the
fight.
flesh is
Huh.
always wanting.
Exactly.
The flesh always wants more. So if you deny yourself, it's going to want. If you give it everything it wants, it's going to want. It's going to want regardless. You're going to always want more, and your flesh is going to always convince you should have more. And this is why when you read in Wisdom of Solomon 6, how discipline is the beginning of showing love to the Most High. I can't even begin to love the Most High unless I learn to love discipline. If you don't love refinement, if you don't love keeping on top of yourself, you can't begin to love the Most High or even learn the Most High. Everything in this truth is about, can I choose to keep up on top of myself versus giving my mind its desires. That is the whole nature of the battle.
It's going to say it right here in 15.
Let him finish and you got it.
Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 15.
Uh-huh.
For the corruptible body presses down the soul.
Because the flesh is always looking for leverage. Like you said, you just brought up. You said it. It has a mind of its own.
It's always trying to figure out jailbreaks out. It's always trying to break out of jail. Huh? The flesh always wants out of jail. Huh? Continue.
Read.
And the earthly tabernacle weighed down the mind.
So your mind's trying to be with the Most High. But your flesh is trying like, nah, man. I'm not trying to go all there.
It's always trying to tell you, it's always trying to plant that seed of doubt in you. It's always trying to make you question doing the right decision. This is why all of us keep having these thoughts in the back of our mind. Did I do the right thing? Is this really what I want in my life? What you don't understand is, when you get what you want in your life, you're going to say, is this really what I want in my life?
Exactly.
This is what you don't realize. Whatever you pursue, you're going to say, is this really what I want? Maybe I want this. And then you go over there, maybe I want this. And you look up, I'm a damn whore.
Exactly.
Whether you're a man whore or a woman whore.
Yeah.
You're going to constantly, that's what the Most High calls men whores. Because they're constantly chasing their own passions. Maybe I want this. Oh, maybe I want this.
I'm-
Oh, maybe I want this.
I want to be stimulated. Yeah.
You're constantly chasing waterfalls.
Yeah.
Stop chasing waterfalls. Yes, I went TLC there, at. Listen, I stick to the scriptures, bro, and be at peace with living this life. Anyway,
No,
sorry,
it's the facts. No, it's the facts. Read that point.
God, it says, and the earthly tabernacle weighed down the mind.
And it's going to give a description of the mind. What the mind's like. What does the mind do? Read.
That musteth up many things.
Museth.
Museth upon many things.
Listen, muse. We're gonna go on that later. Muse is meditating. It's deep thought, and it talks about the unstable personality. Muse on the left-hand side. He's constantly wandering. He or she is constantly wandering about the unknown in the flesh.
And it leads to regret.
Yes.
It leads
Sadness, unhappiness, regret, anger.
It leads to a lot of doubt. And what was bringing out about the people in the truth, they're like, when they're in the truth, they're musing about what would my life have been like in the world.
Yeah.
Then the same spirits go to the world and they're having a good time. And then the good times are good times. Then after this is normal. You got all the freedom you want. You're like, man, I miss how I used to be in the truth.
Exactly. You know, when it's happening, you're jumping. What we don't realize about ourselves, we jump from sensation to sensation. We really like the sensation. Either we like the sensation or we like to chase. Some people love to chase. The process of attaining what they want. And then when they get it, they don't want it no more. Then they want to go find something else to chase. That's why I said waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chase, or it's a new stimulant, something else to bring out something out of you.
Yeah.
But it's not real. It's not spiritual. Because anything spiritual keeps you kept into a place. And the only way to grow in a arena like this is to hunker down more. This is why the most talks about a wise person is like a person that's planted, like a tree planted by the waters. What does that mean? That tree keeps going further down, rooting itself downward, versus trying to get up and leave. The stronger you are, the more confirmed that the decision that you made was the right decision. Based off testimonies, studying, reading, experiences, the experience of others. This is how you get more stable, to where the willingness to uproot and leave becomes harder and harder as time progresses, because you've made it a point to convince yourself. This is still about, can you convince yourself using the tools in the scriptures to convince yourself that bolting out is worse than staying in layman's terms. There has to be a willingness from within inside of you to tell yourself, to justify, me staying here is greater than me going out there. You know, like those math term, that math, like sign. Me staying here is greater than me going out here in the world. And can I sit back and use scriptures, conversations, testimonies, communication to justify that mindset and to keep feeding that mindset? But it is a combination of you choosing to hold on to these testimonies and reading, and based upon you talking about it, communicating about it, to surround yourself with enough reasons to stay hunkered down in here each time scenarios feel difficult for you. Let's go back to the scriptures. I want to keep going.
Post one point.
Okay.
Let's post one point real fast.
I
Ecclesiastes.
guess we ain't going very far in this class today.
No,
You got it.
Ecclesiastes 34 verse 1.
5-verse day again, guys. Anyway. Where we at?
34 and 1.
Ecclesiastes 34 and verse
2-3.
1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
I'm void of understanding. When you read Proverbs, it says a young man void of understanding. A
Yep.
person that's inexperienced. That's all I was talking about. This is a person that has hope, but they lack experience, right? Their ideas are going to be vain and false. Vain means that it really wasn't. There was no benefit to it.
You just chased a feeling.
There you go.
They're vain and false, and you just chase a feeling. And you sit back here and you realize you threw your life away for a feeling. You threw your salvation away for a feeling or an impulse.
Crazy.
Because that's what ends up happening. Yes, sir?
But it's like, it's so deceiving though, because you don't, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but kind of hear this a lot, but it kind of just clicked with me. Like, you don't really think of your body as an enemy. You look at it every day.
Yep.
right? We take trips to Whataburger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Raising Cane.
Hell yeah. Let me
You know what I'm saying? Sensation is. I mean,
And that's it. And I'm making a bad choice every time I do it. But some tells me, hell, we gotta go to these two Dubs, man. The Dub Shack, like Abad always says.
Right. Like indulging in these emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we spend so much time coddling this thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we don't. It's like.
Because that's what we've been taught in the world to do.
Right. It's a weaning process.
Follow your heart.
You know, isn't this crazy? And it's a battle to even get Israel to realize that, to even realize that your enemy is in you. We always used to say back in the day, whatever height you are is the height of your enemy. He looks just like you, has the same mannerisms as you. That's your enemy. We can talk about Esau all them day long. And how he's a scientist and he's doing all the vaccinations and all that, because that's cool, man. He is evil. He's playing his part. But we're the ones not playing our part. We're not playing our part because we don't accept that the number one demon is in us. It's the truth. You have to learn not to trust yourself. But the crazy thing, like you were saying, right? In your arena, you can easily see how eating the wrong foods, we're sitting back here living counterintuitive to us, to yourself, right? But you have to look at how we're weak in our diet and see how we're weak in every other arena. And we choose our flesh in every other arena.
Yeah.
It's the same way we choose the flesh in eating.
Right.
It's the same concept. We're slaves to our impulses. Because we tell ourselves that why would my mind be telling me this if it isn't true?
Right.
If I feel this way, doesn't that mean something? If my feelings tell me this is a bad thing, then why should I stay in something where my feelings tell me it's bad? One of the keys to learning how to be spiritual is to be around enough teachers to help show you, to help teach you how to attack your own thoughts, how to attack your own impulses,
Identify
and
first.
to learn to. And that's where you need your teachers.
You said I remember in the beginning years, the lessons were to identify your thoughts first. Because people, if the devil uses your voice in your head out and talks just like you, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it because it's the same voice. Listen, the person telling you what to do is usually your voice. It's your head saying do some ridiculous thing. But when you read the scriptures sound like a brother's voice that you don't want to hear.
Right.
Don't do it up. You're like, I don't want to hear that, man. But when something you want to do, it's always your voice. You know that's a game? That's a game.
And you said it right, because this is where you need teachers. You need teachers to help teach you how to think again, to help reteach you how to process things, to help show you, hey, you know what, how you think in that way is really bad. Don't trust it. So everybody says, you got to trust the spirit. How do you even know the damn spirit? Unless somebody shows you that mindset is spiritual, this mindset is horrible. In every arena in your life, this is where you need teachers for. Because you're going to tell yourself, if I feel something a certain amount of times, it must be true. Right?
Yeah.
That's how we function and operate. But that's what you have to go against. Okay, let's keep going in Psalms. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot. My fault. No, you're good.
Okay. Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, 34 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The host of a man, void of understanding.
Oh, void of understanding, you lack experience. I lack experience. I have these ideas.
And I have thoughts and feelings about how I was raised from the past, and this is what makes me me.
That's why it's so hard for the new people. It's so hard for them.
It's so hard for new people because one, they have all this jambalaya in their head.
Yeah.
And then two, they're not comfortable. I get to use the Cajun reference. He agreed on that. No, he was true because the jambalaya was bad.
Yeah.
The point is, we have all this negativity in us, but we don't like to tell the teachers the whole negative gamut about us. So now you're in trouble. Because if you don't sit back here and tell people what's going on in you, and if your life isn't an open book, then how can people help you and show you the right way to think? And if they can't show you the right way to think, whose thoughts are you going to choose? Those negative ways. This is why we always say you have to spend your time as a young person around experienced people. And then after you spend your time around them, you have to learn to spill your guts to at least one or two of them. And you have to allow your life to be an open book so they can dissect your thinking. If they don't dissect your thinking, you'll never gain the fuel you need to fight what's inside of you. It's that simple. And if you don't have enough fuel to fight your battle, you can read all damn day long. You're going to get conquered and taken over. Because you're going to only push yourself so far. You're only going to look to fight yourself only so much. And you need the correct, like David said, let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness. The correction from the righteous person is what saves your spiritual life. Anyway, what you got to do?
We don't want me to finish this up. We don't.
God. And dreams lift up fools.
Dreams lift up who?
Fools.
A dream is just a vision.
A feeling.
Idea.
A feeling.
A feeling. And it really it inspires a person to take a direction because they really want to make that feeling real.
Right.
I want this feeling to be my life.
Esau tells you to follow your dreams. Follow your impulses. This whole society is built on chasing impulses and feelings and dreams and not dealing with the reality of things in life. And not dealing with the real deep, real hard facts about who you are. This whole world is about chasing feelings. Continue.
We don't.
Verse 2. Whoso regardeth dreams.
Regarding it, if you're regarding dreams, not the one you sleep in, the ones in your head, the daydreams you have in your mind. Those when we're entertaining those different thoughts.
I'm gonna answer your question, sis, after he finishes his statement.
The one that regards dreams. I mean, I can't stop thinking about. I should have been on stage. I can't stop thinking about what if this situation worked out in my past. I can't stop thinking about the past. I can't stop thinking about if I do this, will this work out? Playing with those thoughts that make you deviate from your testimony, your foundation, the experiences that worked in real life, not the ones in your head, the ones that worked in real life. Read.
Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow.
Because the shadow looks real.
Regards dreams. Meaning, if you put too much energy into what you feel or thoughts and feelings that you got in your head, read on. I'm sorry.
It does. Listen, a shadow is always with you, but you can never touch it. You can never catch it. So your thoughts and your dreams and your ideas, they always gonna be with you. You'll be 20 years in the truth. I still think about get on the stage.
So I'm still thinking about going to the league.
I'm like, man,
I'm a little too old to make it to the league, bro.
Hip hop changed, that. I could have did it.
Hip hop changed.
It changed, that. But look, that thought, that ideal will always be with you.
Yeah.
The ideal always with you. It's like a shadow. It's not too far from you. But as soon as you pursue it, you can never really grasp it because it's just there to really trick you and make you deviate from the Father, your foundation. Read.
And followeth after the wind.
So a person that takes their visions and their ideas, their feelings, too serious is like a person chasing the wind. You can't see
You'll never
the
catch
going.
the wind. You'll never be able to catch it.
But people like that chase you was talking about.
Yes, people love to chase. People love the idea that I'm chasing for something. Versus accepting this is who I am. So let me be really good at what I do every day. And can I accept that I'm going to be really good at what the Most High chose me to do? If I can sit back here and I can see these scriptures and I can believe these scriptures, there's nowhere else to go. This is it. This is my this is my calling. Either I believe it or you don't.
I'm at peace with my call.
But being at peace with your calling is really based upon how you build brick for brick, choosing not to feed those feelings and impulses.
So we're obsessed with trying to obtain an alternative reality.
Yes.
And what
Yeah,
we-
you got it.
Yes.
You said it clear, bro.
Yes. Listen, the flesh pushes to obtain an alternative reality versus accepting the reality of who you are and what you were chosen to do. I always pull this verse. It's Leviticus 25 and 55.
God.
The Most High said we were called to be, the children of Israel are servants unto me. Everybody else in this world has an ulterior reality of what they think they should be. Some people want to be on the mic guy.
Yeah.
But some people want to be superstars, athletes. Everybody has another idea of what they want to be. But the Most said, you're servants to me. You were called to be a servant. And can you accept the fact that you were called to be a servant? Can I accept that? Can you accept that? And then can you accept that you were called to be a servant, to be the greatest? Listen, if I'm called to be a servant, then let me sit back here and be damn good at being a servant. Let me try to be great at being a servant versus sitting back here and trying to justify why I could be something else. He told us what we were supposed to be, then let's accept what you're going to be and be the best you can be at it. Because if you keep trying to push other goals and desires, then you just water yourself down. You're splitting yourself 2 or 3 ways. You don't get the best out of yourself anyway.
And this is why it's so hard. Like this digital reality people have. I hate to attack social media, but
Shit.
the digital
Go for it.
reality, it's a problem because you're looking at people put fake lives and make it look realer.
Yeah.
People you know put their fake scripted life that they want you to see. That's not their real life when you actually walk with them every day, and it looks so real. Some people have green screens on, but some people are just good at faking it.
Yeah.
They're good at faking their life. And when you're in the dumps, you're at that point where Dave was at, their fake life looks realer.
Right. That's the
Their fight,
that's the greener.
when your life is great, bro, their life doesn't look like, their fake life doesn't look, it looks fake.
Right.
But when you're in a bad place, because you took an L, you ain't been studying for a couple weeks, you ain't been coming to class, you've been like holding all your confessions, you've been holding real, you put all your confessions in your heart, you don't tell nobody anything about what's really going on with you, those issues, their lives look realer and realer. Then Esau pushes the pride of life. Then you go walk outside, you go to your job, and you see people living their life. It leads to envy of the world. So now you're fighting your own personal problems, envy of the world, not communicating, not studying. All those factors are attacking your foundation. It is attacking the reason why you came to this room. And it's only a certain period of time for you ain't gonna be here. A certain period of time. Right?
Yep.
You will get overthrown, and we always brought it out. We always brought out the man with his house and the 7 spirits came in.
Yeah.
Those 7 spirits are all those meditations that you took. All those late nights, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the argument you got into, the fight you got into, the thing you didn't talk about, scripture you read, it adds up and builds up. You look up and you out there in the world. Anything you like that blunt, or you eat that, hopefully not, pork. Whatever you're doing there, you're out there doing it, and then you get the regret. I wish I had stuck to the Most High. I wish I kept the truth.
Listen, let's go back to Psalms 119 and verse 3.
Psalms chapter 119 and verse 3. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently.
So obviously we're supposed to keep these scriptures with diligence. Let's jump to let's go and do verse 14 and 15.
Verse 14. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimony.
Listen, not just reading the testimonies, you rejoice in the testimonies. You have to rejoice in holding on to these approaches that remind you to stay strong in this knowledge. You have to value these lessons.
Wow. That's the problem.
You have to rejoice in the
Wow.
spiritual lessons more than you rejoice in blessings. A lot of times we want to rejoice in the blessings
Yeah.
versus rejoicing in the lessons. One of the most teach me faith. Do I rejoice in that testimony? Do I rejoice in that experience when the Most High taught me patience, mercy, long suffering? Did I value that? And did I hold on to that? Because that's what this is about. Not the blessings, the spiritual lessons that you need to ground you even more in this knowledge. Think about that tree that was planted by the rivers and the depth that tree became or was because it was next to the nutrients. But what are the nutrients? What was the water? What was nourishment for us? These testimonies, these experiences that remind you to keep digging more in these scriptures. There has to be a reason why to keep reading. Why keep reading? Why keep studying? Why keep learning? You keep learning, you keep reading to keep finding more testimonies to keep you more grounded. You have to get to the point where you're addicted to learning and overcoming things in yourself. You need to learn to get to the point where you're enthusiastic about the next lesson that you learn, because that next lesson will keep you even more grounded in serving Him. Yes.
And it says, It says the way of your of the testimony. It means the path. Or
Exactly.
The obstacle that you went through. You didn't go reroute or
Exactly.
take a detour. You went through that path.
Straight ahead. Because it was how you got to the blessing, how you got to the lesson. Those are the things you can't forget. And once you realize, once you do things the right way one time, then you can learn how to replicate that same mindset the next time.
Yeah.
Because once you realize, you'll get true spiritual lessons when you don't cheat the lesson. When you don't cheat the work it takes to get the lesson. It's no different than eating right and working out. If you work out and get really built up, you realize you can't cheat the workout. Right or wrong? Can you cheat the training? Can you cheat the like people talk about diets? There's no such thing as damn diets. You're not supposed to eat great for 3 months so you can fudge off for 3 more months afterwards. It's a lifestyle. It is a choice. I have to choose to live this way and eat this way, and you can't shortcut the process. And when you don't shortcut the process, you see the results. It's the same way spiritually. When you don't shortcut the discipline, when you sit back and run towards the testimony more than likely is about the hard work you have to go through to learn the lesson. And I want to bring out, answer the question the sister had earlier. She said, who do you open up to? Really, it starts off with the person who's going to show you the most about yourself, who is the most honest about your battle. You don't go to the person who's going to tell you what you want to hear, because that person is not going to do you right. You want to stay as far as everybody in Israel land. The person who tells you what you want to hear, get the hell away from them, because they don't give a shit about you. Whoever's listening in any damn city across America who listen to class, if they're telling you what you want to hear, it's because they don't want to deal with you and deal with your problems. If a person gives a shit about you, they'll tell you the truth about you. What's that? Read it. Pull it.
Proverbs 27 and verse 6. Faithful. Actually, let's go to verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
So it's better to openly tell a person that there's issues about you than to secretly smile in your face and just smile and just say flattering words and tell you what you want to hear. That is the greatest form of hate a person can do to you.
That's why even I understand you on a national level. What they do in the national level? Oh, black woman, you did everything right. Black woman, black woman, everything. I'm not harping on black women. I'm saying that they use this black empowerment. Black woman did this, black woman did that. Everything black woman did was perfect, right? They say black, right? And they empower. They're just blowing your head up. Says you sit here and don't critique yourself to fix your household.
Yeah.
Esau knows that flattery works to destroy people.
Yeah.
It's the Bible says his words.
Israel knows that too. That's the black church.
Yeah.
That's the damn church.
Woman that art loose.
It's women, it's dudes, it's whatever the hell. I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear to keep bringing this bread or working for me.
Exactly.
And that is the greatest form of hatred you can ever come across. What you want to find out in a brother or sister is, can they tell you that you got to change and right afterwards love you like they never said anything? That's the person you want to sit back here and follow and counsel.
Not sparing your feelings.
Can they not spare your feelings, but then show you love right afterwards? That might be an uncomfortable relationship initially, but the only reason it's an uncomfortable relationship is because you're immature. The student is immature. That's why it's an uncomfortable relationship. Because the person that just checked you and gave you a dap afterwards, they're not uncomfortable because they understand that's a process of what has to happen for you to grow. So that's how you find out. Yeah, that's how you find out if a person is really about your development. Can I sit back here and tell you the uncomfortable truth right in front of you? Don't bat an eye. Tell you what's up. After I tell you, we work together and everything's cool. But finish your verse in Proverbs.
I'm not benefiting from it.
And also, because there's a scripture in the Apocrypha that says, before you go to counsel, make sure that he doesn't know what you have a need of, or make sure you know. No, it says make sure you know what the counselor has need of, meaning because they might try to counsel you to their advantage.
Right.
So it's all about finding a counselor that doesn't have any need of what you bring to the table. So you make sure that the intentions behind the correction is pure. So if you know the correction and the intention and pure behind the correction, then there's nothing to sweat. Everything's cool. What you got? In Proverbs.
Verse 6.
Proverbs what? Say it again.
Proverbs 27 and verse 6.
Proverbs 27 and verse 6.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Listen, but once again, now we also understand faithful are the wounds of a friend. A friend has to show himself friendly, and a friend has to prove. A friend has to be earned. So I don't want to sit back and loosely say friend like everybody's a friend. You have to sit back here and earn your friendship through ups and downs and consistency. And is that person there through rain, sleet, hail, and snow? But I'm trying to show you the consistency of the teacher, the dedication of the teacher, the honesty of the teacher, and the making. This is why Paul kept saying, I don't want to be in a situation where I have a need of you. Because if I'm sitting back here constantly taking from you, then in your head, are you going to tell yourself, this person is just using me for what I can bring to the table? It's very important as a teacher and counselor, you give for free. You counsel for free. You counsel with no expectation back. That's how you know a person actually gives a crap about you, when they counsel and teach you and not get nothing out of the deal. Yeah. That's how you know they care. And can they tell you the truth, knowing that it doesn't benefit them? Or can they tell you the truth, knowing they're risking losing you? Because I've seen a lot of brothers back in the day tell you what you want to hear because they don't want to lose you, because they need you for their needs. That happens a lot in Israel. Don't follow those guys. Follow the guys that's honest with you and tells you the truth, whether you leave or don't. That's love, because it takes love and courage to do that. All right, let's get back. Now we're in Psalms 119, verse 14 and 15.
Go.
Psalms 119 and verse 14. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches.
And this is important. If I'm going to be potent in studying and meditating, I have to rejoice in testimonies, in the lessons the Most High has taught me about my growth, lessons in the fruits of the Spirit, battles I've overcome. I have to value learning and growing and fighting my battles as much as a man or woman would value riches.
Yeah.
And money and the acquiring of financial gain.
Benefit. Yeah.
You have to show the Most High that you love and value the lessons he's teaching you. We're trying to show you the blueprint of how to study, how your mind should be in the process of studying and learning. What type of values must you have while you're reading and being in this truth? Read on.
Verse 15.
Great verse. Damn. Read on.
I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways.
So, you can't just read the precepts. You have to respect the Most High's intention in these scenarios. And he's going to read a verse on the line where it says, all thy ways are correct. Because that's the respect you're supposed to have. The respect you have for the Most High is the acknowledgement that everything he does is for a reason, and everything he does is to develop you. Can you sit back here and trust that everything that he's put you through is for a reason, and everything he's done is for your spiritual benefit? Can you look through your life and say that? And say, if you don't have certain things in your life, it's because of your ass. It ain't God's fault. It ain't the white man's fault. It's not the bad man over here's fault. The Most High's got you exactly where you're at because of your conduct. That's how you respect the Most High's ways. It's respecting how the Most High operates in your life. It's respecting how the Most High, all the snares he's got you in. Can you respect that you're in the situation that you're in because he's got you there? Or because of your conduct hasn't earned you out of that circumstance? Okay. We're going to jump from verse 15. Let's read 22 through 24. Let's put Psalms 1. Yeah, 20, that's fine. 22 through 24.
Psalms 119 and verse 22. Remove from me reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies.
He says, take away from me reproach and contempt. David was like, man, take away this negative, angry spirit I got from me. You have to hate being angry at your circumstances in order to overcome your circumstances. Too many times we want to play the victim, why our life is difficult, uncomfortable, crappy, unfavorable. He says, remove from me that reproachful nature. Reproachful is a negative mindset. Take that negative mindset, take that angry mindset that I have from my condition, i.e., being angry at the Most High for what He's got, what I say I'm going through. Take that away from me, for I have kept my testimony. I have kept thy testimony. Because when you keep the Most High's testimonies, it keeps you back remembering that you're in the situation that you're in because of you. And it's not the Most High's fault. Read on.
Verse 23. Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes.
He says, it doesn't matter who's against me. It doesn't matter if my surroundings have changed. I'm sticking to your testimonies and your ways.
He stayed confined.
He stayed confined, he stayed disciplined, and he stayed stuck to reading in these scriptures how to get blessed in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. He didn't deviate when things got hard. Read on.
Verse 24. Thy testimonies also are my delight and my counsel.
See, guys, because those experiences you have, that you overcome, those battles you overcome, you're going to be in another situation where the stakes are a little bit higher. But it's still the same exact formula as it was last time.
And that's why you delight in them, because you at least have a template of what to hold on to, so that you have faith that if you just hold on to them, the Most High will bless you. And that's why you delight in the testimonies and the counselors who remind you to stick to the testimonies.
That's why it's so important not to quit.
Exactly.
This is the problem. When people quit prematurely, they never get the lessons, and they never find spiritual stability.
And that's why it's so hard for a lot of us who just quit in the world when things got hard. For those of us who quit in the world when things got hard, shit, that's going to be your nature when things get hard in the truth. And you better have some testimonies or some experiences of you not quitting, so you can hold on to that. So when it gets hard the next time, you can go back to the time you didn't quit and you were successful.
Yeah, if you don't got them, you better create them.
And, and as you're creating them, you better love those counselors who are showing you how to hold on to these testimonies.
I remember my initial, my first, like, I had no faith, but I knew, like, in my mind, if I could just make it to tomorrow. I tell myself that. If I wake up tomorrow, it's going to be a whole new day. that was how I used to fight my battles.
That's awesome.
Listen, when all else gets fails, go to sleep and wake up. There's a new day tomorrow. There's a new day. Now listen, that's a very immature way to fight a battle.
I was hoping that you were going to say that. I was like, don't. I said, God, don't say that's the way to do it.
Listen,
don't say that's the way to do
That's an immature way to fight your battle. I was like, listen, if I can just get past 10 o'clock, I get past 12 o'clock, I go to sleep. I wake up tomorrow. I'm still an Israelite. I'm gonna be Israelite tomorrow.
You were speeding to the bed.
Quit everything. Just quit. F it, quit. They're like, I was gonna go to my bed. I was going to bed. I wake up. I'll be an Israelite.
Just close my eyes.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, if you really have no victories in the spirit, you better cleave to people that do have victories. Because that's not good enough. It's when we're going to sleep, wake up the next day, and you're going to be Israelite tomorrow. That's not going to win. You ain't going to last. So you have to hold on to people that they've won. Their longevity in the spirit and in the truth as something you can draw from as inspiration until you get your victories, until you get your story, until you get your testimony.
I got to go to this real quick, and I'm going to jump back. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth, but I want to go to verse 65.
Yeah.
Pretty much through 71.
Come.
This is phenomenal. Really, it's 65 through 68 and then 71.
Psalms 119 and verse 65.
This part is really about outlook. And how do I look at my life and circumstances I go through in the truth? I'm telling you, Psalms 119 goes hard. Read that.
Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Lord.
He said, listen, you have done well by me, Father. I have no complaints. You have done right by me. Listen, when everything's said and done, can you say that the Most High has been fair with you? That the Most High is a just power?
Come.
A lot of us can't say that. A lot of us say the Most High is unfair. And how do we say that? Because we say our life is unfair.
True.
We complain about our life. We complain about our circumstances. We complain about our lot in life. But then we say we love God. No, you don't. How do you love the Most High if you complain about your circumstances and what you're going through and what type of what do you call it
Condition.
I don't want to say lot in life or condition or what type of breaks, not breaks, but what type of
what I don't have.
what type of situation you've given in your life. A lot of people have issues with how their life went, how they were raised, what they went through, what they suffered. Read on.
God, according unto thy word,
Mm-hmm.
teach me good judgment
He says, teach me good judgment.
and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments.
Good.
Before I was afflicted, I went astray.
Read that again.
Wow.
Before I was afflicted, I went astray.
Read it again.
Before I was afflicted, I went astray.
How many of us tell ourselves, before I start getting stung, I was off? And if you don't know, can you sit back here and remind yourself, damn, why am I getting stung? It must have been something I did. Do we think that way? Or do we say our affliction is happening because of this person, or the Most High? He's unfair. Or life is unfair. Most of us don't say the Most High is unfair. We just say life is unfair. How many of us say, before I was afflicted, I went off? Because that's the level of accountability you have to have in order to be in good standings with the Heavenly Father. In order to make sure your relationship with Him stays strong so that all the reading and studying actually sticks. If you don't have this accountability, you're going to read 1,000 damn verses. It's not going to stick. You have to accept that when things go bad in my life, it's because of me. If I'm lacking something in my life, it's because of me. If I don't have the things I want or I think I deserve in my life, it's because of me. Rib, family, household being in order, financial situation, peace in my house, peace in my life. If I don't have what I want, it's because I've gone astray. I haven't done enough. If you can't accept that, if I don't get the respect I want from the men, if I don't get the respect I want in my life, it's because of me. Not nobody else. It's my wrongdoing. And can I accept that? Read on.
I got both
Oh,
here.
okay, please do.
It says Psalms 107, verse 17. Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities.
What verse is this?
Psalms 107, verse 17.
Okay, read it again.
Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted.
Exactly.
It's pretty to the.
You gotta type that on the screen so America can hear that, bro.
Can you read
That
that,
is
sir?
phenomenal, bro.
From the mountaintop.
Psalms
Tell it, go
107
tell it to the mountain.
Psalms 107 and verse 17.
Phenomenal.
Fools, because of their transgressions.
So remember, we read earlier about fools, right? What do fools like to do? They love to chase that dream. They love to chase that feeling. Living for a feeling.
Yeah.
They love looking at their shadow and be like, man, I can catch that shadow. We look at dogs and be like, dog's tripping, trying to bite his tail. You gotta chase his tail. Oh, stupid dog. And then right after that, we start chasing dreams out.
We chasing your tails.
And try to catch the wind out. But I'm like, you no different than this dog chasing his tail. I used to look at dogs, he just spin in a circle, chasing his tail. He just kept fighting to get it. Oh, this dog is crazy. And I look up and I'm doing this. I'm chasing dreams and stuff. I'm fantasizing and what ifs and how it could have went that way.
Monster verse.
Do I still have time? Right? That's a fool. That's a person that's entertaining multiple thoughts and not sticking to their foundation.
And can you own up to where you're being a fool at? Because you want to say the fool is the other guy. You're like, the search, this, I'm with the fool. The fool's over here. The guy's thumbs over here, the fingers like this. No. Can you own up when you're the fool? Can you say, man, where am I a fool? You're a fool in arenas where you're not successful at.
Not in all your arenas.
Because isn't wisdom the correct application of knowledge?
No.
So if things aren't working for you in certain arenas, that means you're a fool in it.
In that arena.
In that arena.
But we have.
And can I understand that when things aren't working the way I want, it's because I've gone astray and I'm playing the fool.
But this how uneven we are in our judgment. We think because, like, let's say if I play basketball, I'm really good at basketball. Well, because I'm good at basketball and I'm sharp at that, I don't suck at this. We like to glaze over what we suck at. We glaze over what we suck at and just over embellish,
Those
emphasize.
are bench press Israelites. We talk about it all the damn time. Israel will sit back here and bench press their ass off. They have a pot belly and no cardio. Listen, and they got chicken legs, pot belly. She flexed my belly and no cardio in their
I got
life.
his guns.
But I got guns.
His guns.
I
ripped.
showed up chest and arms. Chest and arms. See? 22-inch pythons. No study habits at all.
Really, that's because
You
that's
said
true.
what?
Chest is bigger than your stomach.
Yeah, listen, a brother literally told me that. He said, if my chest is bigger than my stomach, it don't even matter. I'm like,
Man,
whoa.
boy.
Listen, that stuff is going to get out here eventually. Your chest is not going to get
Not forever.
It's
Not
not going to
forever.
work, B. Maybe when you're 28, you're going to climax. It's going to start doing this after a while. Like,
They keep putting plates up. Plates keep going up.
your
Plates
chest
going
don't
up.
keep growing. It doesn't do it. Your
Right.
chest drops. Let's keep
30
rising.
inch chest.
Oh, man.
So
it's horrible.
that's the mind of a fool. That's a person who entertains unrealistic thinking.
Yeah.
You
And then
know?
they wonder why there's a lack of success in certain arenas.
You're not really, when it comes to relationship, you're not realistic. Because the money, you're not realistic. Comes to actual biblical application, you're not realistic.
Yeah.
You might be realistic when it comes to your arena that you came from the world. I'll follow your advice. If you know what you're doing, I'm gonna follow you. But not in that.
When people are angry and depressed in these arenas, they're not successful. They don't want to accept. I don't know what I'm doing, and I need counsel in this arena. If I want to see success in this arena where I keep failing, can I admit I'm a fool, and I'm not getting blessed because I have gone astray from the Most High. I have gone astray from seeking wisdom and doing things the right way. And can I accept that I'm deficient in this arena, so I can get developed and taught? We don't want to. We want to say, nah. I'm just gonna focus on this wisdom, this reading I know about. I'm gonna study my ass off in this, but not focus on my vulnerabilities.
I know I'm Josephus, but I don't know nothing else in my life. I don't know no Psalms out.
Listen, or just Interman. Listen, I don't want to do Interman. I just want to read about the knowledge
Yeah.
and the breakdowns.
Yeah.
And I want to be the smartest guy in town, but it doesn't work. You have to have
I'm the
balance.
smartest man in the room.
That's cool. Except it comes from your own battles. And that's what Ecclesiastes talks about, where it says, there is one that is wise and teaches many, and yet is unprofitable for himself. That means you're not that damn good at what you do then. If you can tell people all these damn Bible verses, but your house is garbage and it's shambles, then what type of example are you? You might not be able to practice what you preach. Maybe I shouldn't listen to all this malarkey you're telling me. If you can't live it.
True.
Anyway.
This is up or what?
Yeah.
This is up. So it says, what does it say?
We said
17?
Psalms 107 and verse 17.
Great verse, bro.
Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities,
And so
are...
it says because of transgression and iniquities.
Okay.
I mean, iniquities are opinions. A lot of times, you can't disprove my opinion. You can't disprove because you can't disprove what I don't tell you.
There's a lot of good people in Israel that don't tell you what's going on, and their life just keeps stinging them. They're like, damn, Bob's a good guy. Huh? Or I'm just going to use a generic Israelite name. Like Gabar. Gabar is a great guy. How come he's not getting blessed? Huh?
Yeah.
How come the warrior man is just not getting blessed? Huh?
Rash is the fireman.
Fire or Gabar, those generic Hebrew names is cool, but how come he's not getting blessed? When every time he's dapping me up, everything's shalom and cool, how come the things aren't working out in his life? I don't know.
Because
But if you sit back and keep digging, you realize he's doing shit wrong, and he ain't telling you what's going wrong, but he keeps getting stung. But he's going to keep getting stung until he realizes that I'm getting stung because I have gone astray from serving the Most High. A lot of us go years making the wrong mistakes, and then they keep getting angry at the Heavenly Father.
and they think they blame it on the truth of the teachers, but really it was my lack of changing my opinion, letting my opinion go, and my own transgression. They're afflicted, right? It says because their own transgression and their own iniquity, opinion, they're afflicted. My own opinion draws affliction in my life. I ain't gonna let no man tell me what to do. That's an opinion. Cool. See how far you go in the truth with that, though. I don't need no man. Cool. How long you going the truth with that? You know what? All I do, I just depend on me. I'm just gonna be super independent. That's cool. Let's see how long you can do that in the spiritual world.
Not very long.
Sorry, it doesn't work. Read the verse 18.
Verse 18. Their soul abhorreth all manner of meat.
Meat represents maturity. Milk is when you're immature. Milk when you're a baby, you just get the basics, the precepts. Meat is the mature level understanding. You gotta fight your battle. You gotta psychoanalyze yourself. You gotta be damn honest. You gotta attack your flaws. You gotta tell people what you're dealing with, and you gotta go follow somebody that tells you you're wrong. That's hard meat to eat. You chew that, that's hurt my stomach out, hurt my teeth out. It don't even taste good out. But you know what? It says their soul hates all manner of maturity.
Man.
Their soul hates maturity. Read on.
Because the meat is the solution. Is what's going to actually make you whole. But it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. Listen, how many of us can sit back here and hear the truth? And it just seems like, wow, man, that's a lot I got to do to get right with the Most High. That's you saying that's you being a fool. You being overwhelmed by how much you're going to have to change in yourself to get the blessing from the Heavenly Father. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Read on.
God. And they draw near unto the gates of death.
So now you're close to the gates of death.
Ugh.
He that wanted out the way of understanding, remain, you're in the congregation of the dead.
Because you hate the solution. You're drying out. You're dying in the spirit. The solution's here. It's too hard for you. So you're getting closer. You're running from that. You're going to death.
It's too hard because I gotta change my opinion to get there. That's the real reason. Listen. My opinion is hard. I know. I used to be scared of myself. I'm scared of myself, man. 'Cause I know I'm stubborn now. I know I'm
A
stubborn.
lot of Israel.
I
is stubborn now.
know. When I believe something now, and I tell myself something,
You choose to believe.
I'm not gonna change that. So if you tell yourself the wrong thing, that could be the
That's
end of you.
dangerous, bro.
That could be the end. Because you're believing something that's not really true. It's not. Your opinion hasn't proven to create an outcome that works.
Exactly.
It's
Well, you'll keep telling yourself.
It's an unproven outcome. You know what the Bible calls that? A delusion.
Yes.
So your opinion or your ideal that's unproven that you believe in, now you got some meat. What's the meat? Do A, B, and C. How it's gonna work out. That goes against everything I think in my head.
It's crazy, bro.
Now you got to disprove yourself to even get the outcome.
And this is the whole point about the class. I have to break the opinion so that the words actually sink into me. I have to attack how I look at things and attack the foolishness in me for the word to actually penetrate my spirit. This is how, because people can read all damn day long, but if you got pride and you're not listening, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And once again, you done with that?
No, I'm gonna
Keep
finish
going,
up.
keep going.
Finish up. So the soul, and we'll answer that question. The soul abhors the manner of meat solutions, and it draw near to the gates of death. Why? Because he that wanted the way of understanding, right? No understanding remains in the congregation of what?
The dead.
Dead. I'm destroyed for lack of what?
Knowledge.
Why am I not knowledge? Because I don't listen. Right?
You're going fast. You're talking
Okay,
fast
I'm
as hell,
talking.
man.
I'm talking.
And I'm saying that, I'm like, yeah, you on the stage right now.
Yeah, okay, I'm-
Lights on and everything. I'm saying this for that.
The reason why
I'm only taking this slow down
Yeah.
because it's good information.
It's
you
good
need to
information.
hear. That's why I'm giving you going fast.
I'm lacking understanding because I don't listen. If I don't listen, I'm going to be destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you don't listen, you can't learn. Right?
Okay.
So now read verse 19.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Then they,
Oh.
Yeah. This way hits. This way hits right here.
then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble.
That my life's not working.
Wow.
And
now
I'm
they're-
crying.
Wow.
My life is not working.
Why, Father?
Why?
Then people want to get angry at the Most High.
I wear all the friends. I wear friends every day.
Philanderies.
Listen, I remember back in the old school, we had that homeless couple.
Wow, bro.
And they used to sleep in front of the school. And
Yes.
the old man would come out and he would cry. He'd say, I go to sleep every night with my Bible.
I remember that guy.
Remember that guy?
I remember that guy.
This-
Like through osmosis.
Yeah, he
He was gonna
said,
stop doing drugs.
he said, I go to sleep every night with my Bible, and I sleep with my Bible every day.
Yes, he did.
I don't know why I'm living like this.
Yes,
And they would sleep in front of the school every single day for about a good, maybe month.
I remember that.
And we were just like, well, they're going to sleep in front of school.
Yeah.
And then we said, come in the classroom. He didn't want to come in the class. I'm like, bro,
It's like the guy that was near the pool that could heal him. He didn't want to go in the water.
God. We're the same exact way.
Yeah, and we look at a guy like that and say, oh, he's garbage. This guy's negative. No, in our own little way, we do the same thing. And certain things that we're weak at, listen, and the things you're weak at, you don't go to get the remedy you need. You choose to avoid the remedies and then cry about the fact that you keep getting stung. Don't forget how the Most High says in Ezekiel. He says, listen, man, I don't take pleasure in you pining away in your sin. But he also, him saying that, also says, you're gonna flip and pine away in your goddamn sin. I don't take pleasure in you falling, but I'm not budging. If you want to change in your life, you better be humble. So if you want to burn off 15 years of your life, I don't want to see it. But I guess you're going to burn off 15 years of your life until you decide to change and do things the right way.
And the story of that guy, that homeless guy, he eventually got a place. He's a big gangbanger. He ended up trying to change. He got an apartment. Everything was working out. As a woman, they had been together for like 15 years. When he wanted more, his woman left him. And she married another homeless guy. And then he came back, and the guy walked through and said, I used to be with her. We used to be together. But she don't want to be with me, bro. She don't want to change. She don't want to live. I say, we have an apartment. We have a place to live. We don't have to be out here anymore, babe.
Yeah.
And she rejected because she was comfortable where she was at. She was comfortable with her sob story. How many of us we say we want to change, but we're too comfortable with our sob story?
A lot of us. A lot of us are comfortable with our sob story. Get more of that?
Yeah, I'm finna finish it up. Read on.
Verse 20?
Yes.
Crazy.
Oh, no, verse 19.
Yeah.
Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble.
So when they're at the peak of their trouble, when they're humble, because they're humble and they're calling out because it's really bad. Read.
And he saveth them out of their distress.
What's the Most High do?
Saveth them out of their distress.
He sends you a class, a counselor, a scripture. He sends you a sign. Most High sends something to you to save you out of your distress. He don't save you from the battle.
Yeah.
He saves you from distress. I'm gonna calm it down a little bit and give you an answer.
And that's why in Corinthians it gives you a way to escape. But keep going.
Read on.
Verse 20. He sent his word.
The word was what he sent. The word is how you get out of the distress. The word is a solution. The word is a comfort. He gives you the solution scripturally. Read on. Sorry.
Read on.
He sent his word and healed them.
And that word, if you actually give your mind to it, the word will heal your mind. It will heal your condition.
Once you apply it, but listen, the word can't heal if you got pride. You have to let go of the pride, let go of the negative mindset for the word to actually sink. People sit back here that they think the word is going to heal you without you letting something go. In life,
exactly.
You have to let something go for
Exactly.
something else to come in.
Wow, that's true.
You have to replace a mindset for the word of the Most High's mindset to enter into your mind. You're not going to just have this filthy ass negative spirit and the word comes through and cleanses all of it. That's fantasy land. That's religion. You have to choose to hate how you look at things, push that to the side, receive the word, then you'll get blessed.
That's why they all said, so foolish was I.
Yes.
He actually agreed he was a fool.
And he was a beast.
I said, damn.
He was beast because he was angry and jealous that the wicked were comfortable and he was in a damn cave. And he was the one that was living right, and they was living in hog heaven, being negative as hell, having white boys there as his lieutenant.
He
It's Sergeant Mark.
He was in shape too. Like, he was looking.
He was a hoss.
Like this.
He was a hoss, and he was Saul's #1 guy. That's true. His name was Doeg. But keep going.
Read on.
God. And delivered them from their destructions.
So the Most High is delivering them. When He sends the word is knowledge, right? The word is wisdom from the Bible.
A solution.
Solution, right? It's that meat that you need, right? And it heals you, and it delivers you from what?
Destructions.
But what's our destruction? Lack of knowledge.
Yep. And our negative way of looking at
Not
things.
want to listen.
Our negative devices. Yep.
God. That was it.
Okay, let's go back. That was phenomenal. Let's go back to Psalms 119 and give me verse 67, 68, and 71.
Psalms 119 and verse 67. Before I was afflicted, I went astray.
And this is what every person has to understand. When things don't go good in their life, if they're unfulfilled, if they're not getting what they want, there's something negative in them. Either there's negative in me for wanting this worldly thing, or it's negative in me that's keeping me from the blessing that I should have where I'm at in my spirit. One way or another, it's me that's keeping me back from my blessing. It's no one else but me. Read on. That level of accountability has to happen. It has to be present in yourself if you want these words to actually penetrate.
It's almost you at your strongest point.
Exactly.
The strongest a person can be is accountable. A lot of
Exactly.
times.
Exactly. Your accountability is absolutely necessary to sustain anything you go through. Read on.
But now have I kept thy word.
Exactly. Now I've repented. Once I acknowledge I was the problem, now I can go back to these testimonies and these scriptures and tighten myself up. But if I keep telling myself I'm the victim, I never go to the right place to get fixed. People can be telling you the answer all damn day long, but if you don't realize you're the problem, you won't listen to them. Read on.
Thou art good and doest good.
Listen, why is David saying that thou art good and doest good? Because when you're down and you're suffering, you want to tell yourself the Most High isn't good and He isn't fair. And what I'm going through is unbearable. And it's unfair what lot of life the Most High has put me through.
I've done so much. I've done this. I've done that.
I've given this. I've dedicated
Why?
this. Why am I still here? You have to neutralize that negative spirit and remind yourself that the Most High is good. And He does good. And He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek after Him. So if He's not rewarding you, it's because you're not diligent in the arena that you want. Listen, I can be diligent in this all damn day long. And guess what? I'm getting rewarded for being diligent in this arena. But you know how we're carnal or we're very religious in our thinking? I want to get blessed because I'm doing good in this arena, but I have poor wisdom in this arena. But the good in this arena should earn a blessing in this arena. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I plant onions, and I got the best onions, but my
But I want cucumbers.
my cucumbers ain't growing.
How come I'm not getting cucumbers when I'm busting my ass putting together and farming these onions?
These onions, look,
Father, I have put all this time into the onion farm. How come you have not blessed me with the cucumber farm? I don't want to. I've been busting my ass with these onions. Listen, that sounds stupid how it's coming off, right? But this is how we are in the spirit. I sit back and go to work. I read the Bible. But you ain't give me this. Because you ain't fought your battle in this. You're fighting your battle in this and think that in this religious world you've created, you're going to get rewarded over here for doing good here.
You got onions, bro. You got the
you got these fancy, perfectly used. You got these big ass onions because you put onion work in. You didn't put the other work in. But you're mad at the Most High because you're not getting this blessing. I see that with Israel all the time. Can you be it? Listen, if you put into this, you get this. If you don't put in this, you don't get any reward for this. So let's sit back here, maintain this. Listen to a person that does it better over here than you do. Be a student, follow, and then see the repercussion of following and being humble in that arena versus being angry and want to not be accountable for your actions.
So
all this is showing you is about accountability so I can get in the situation to where I can see the blessing of the Most High.
So can I ask a question more? So you're saying that if I take those steps, those are biblical steps, right?
Yep.
I'm going to look up and have a testimony?
Yep.
Because those, I took accountability. I'm not just saying not like the social justice accountability. I'm talking about, I looked at myself and said, okay, this is what I'm not doing right. I got counselors to help me see it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went home and I studied on it myself. Then I stopped making excuses.
Yep.
Then I let go of my opinion. And I kept putting the work in until I found the right formula.
Yep.
Then I kept applying the right formula until it worked.
Yep.
Then once it worked, I got a certain outcome. And then I held on to that outcome.
Yeah.
And I applied it over and over.
And then I got to take that outcome and put it in another arena where I'm weak at.
God.
And then work it there and use other counselors to help me get clarity in an arena where I'm weak at. So eventually, I don't have any arena where I have failed or haven't seen success, so I can continue to trust and feed the notion that the Most High is good and does good. Because I have to continue to feed this mindset that when I was afflicted, I was astray. Well, but now I've kept your word. The Most High is good and does good. Read on.
Come. Verse 71.
Verse 68 again.
Come. Thou art good and doest good. Teach me thy statutes.
I have to keep feeding this concept that I have to trust in these statutes, trust in these testimonies, trust in these lessons to get me to the next battle. I have to understand the Most High has corrected me for a reason. He corrects me because I'm off. Let me stop being a victim. Verse 71.
Verse 71. It is good for me that I have been afflicted.
How many people say that about their battle?
Not many.
It was good that I got checked. It's good that Most High didn't give me this. It's good he didn't take this. He didn't bless me with this. He's good. It's good that I lost this. Because it forced me to come back to him. If you don't learn this mindset, how can you truly please the Most High? Because David is a man of the Most High's heart. So he's showing you the template of how to have a positive relationship with him. Read verse 71 again.
Psalms 119 and verse 71. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes.
Because that's, you know what, when you get afflicted, it's reminding you that you got to go back to the lab and study again.
Yeah.
When things aren't working right in your life, that's the Most High saying, go back and search me. You're missing certain things about me. You're missing some understanding. It's not that the Most High is unfair. Life is unfair. This world is unfair. No, I'm getting stung because there's certain things I got to learn more. I got to go back in the lab and study, ask questions. I got to get humble again. So if me sitting back here losing this forces me to get humble again, then it really is a good thing. If me losing this or not getting blessed with this forces me to ask questions, study, be humble, have an open mind, then it was a good thing. Then it was worth losing. I'd rather lose this physical thing and keep my soul than keep this physical thing and lose my spirit in salvation. Okay, listen, give me a verse 78.
Psalms 119 and verse 78. Let the proud be ashamed, for they dealt perversely with me without a cause.
Exactly.
But I will meditate in thy precepts.
He says we have to keep meditating in these scriptures, keep meditating in his precepts, and hold close to these words.
I think you said in the beginning of class, meditate doesn't mean just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Meditate means you're really considering, you're trying to really understand it. You're sincerely trying to understand what the Most High is showing you.
Con.
You're putting a concerted effort to understand it.
Con. It's the work behind the thinking. It's the mindset behind the thing. We've been trying to show you the whole day today. There is a mindset that has to come into play as you're studying and reading. Y'all need to go back into reading Psalms 119 again in consistent levels because it gives you a game plan on how to think as you're studying, how to think as you're reading, what's the mindset you have to be in when you're trying to learn and get understanding.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
We know when we want to get a job out, we know we got to be all dressed up. We know we got to dress up, sir, yes, sir, no, sir. We got to be real positive, shiny faces out.
Yep.
Have our hair done, fresh haircuts, smell good, being that I'm social, I'm ready to work, I'm flexible. We know what spirit we have to be in to get a certain job. But to keep the job is a different spirit. Keeping it, once I'm here for a certain period of time, we stop coming to work on time, stop keeping my hair cut. I'm just giving an example in worldly situations. We stop dripping out. We start going to the job sloppy, wrinkly pants, come to work garbage. The labor's not as sharp. The first 3 weeks at the job, or 9-day grace period, the 9-day trial period, where a company answers. After that period's over, we get used to the job, get sloppy.
It's slothful.
It's like that with the Most High too. We want the Most High to bless us. We start getting sharp in the scriptures, sharp in the wisdom. We start getting clear in the mind. We start understanding his thoughts. Then we get comfortable, we get used to everything, we start slacking. Study less, attend less, meditate less, and we look at we're back in poverty.
Okay. Let's get a couple more verses. It's getting late, man. Let's do Psalms 119, 28, and 128 and 148.
Psalms 119 and verse 128. Thou hast trodden down.
No, 128. 119 and 128.
God, it's like. Therefore, I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right.
Listen, that's an important concept too.
Wow.
You have to esteem that all the things the scriptures say, all the things that the council says is right. If everything that the scripture says is right, that means I'm what?
Wrong.
And how I feel is what?
Wrong.
Wrong. I have to always say when everything is said and done, how I feel is wrong and these scriptures are right. Do you realize if we all believe this, there'd be half the arguments at the house? There'd be no arguments at home. If everybody sat back here and settled with these scriptures and set aside their ego and opinion to accept that the word of the Most High is right and I'm wrong. There'd be no issues in our head. There'd be less back and forth in our mind if we accepted that our opinions and feelings don't mean nothing. And that the word of the Most High is right above everything, before it all. Read on. It's anti what?
God. And I hate every false way.
The only
Wow.
way you can hate the negative, that means you hate the false way with people in the world, and you hate the false way in who? Yourself. You have to learn to hate the false way in yourself before you can start hating the world or how negative they are. Because Israel is easy to sit back here and talk about how wicked Esau is. Oh, Esau's wicked, but how many times do you say, man, I'm really false in how I look at things? How I process things are really negative.
And really know why.
I gotta fix this. This is not healthy to live and think like this. Give me 148.
God. Verse 148. Mine eyes prevent the night watches, that I might meditate in thy word.
He says, your eyes, which is your mind, prevent the night watches, that I might meditate in thy word. You have to fight your ass off not to mind travel at night. You have to fight your butt off not to meditate about what's bad in your life, what's difficult in your life, what's uncomfortable in your life, what's not fair in your life. He says, my eyes prevent the night watches. You have to bust your ass to make sure you have to control what thoughts you entertain and what thoughts you don't. You have to proactively eliminate these negative thoughts out of your mind so you can effectively meditate in the scriptures. He's telling you that your mind's going to want to sit back here and watch about everything that's not fair. The Most High talks about the eyes in 1 John like the lust of the eyes. So you have to prevent those lusts of the eyes. So you can meditate positively on the Most High.
But they're contesting.
Yes, your eyes, the lust of your eyes is always contesting with these scriptures. Your feelings and your emotions, go there real quick. And this will be it. The lust of the eyes.
God. 1 John 2 and 16. God.
Thank you. Listen, save me some time. 1 John 2 and 16. 16?
2 and 16. God. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh is not of the Most High. So he says, my eyes prevent the night watches that I might meditate in the word. I have to prevent those lusts of the eyes. I got to fight every night all the things I think I'm missing out on. All the things I think I wish that my eyes would be attracted to. I have to get that out of my mind so I can properly meditate in the Most High's word and be potent for him. Once again, in order to really get this information to sink, something has to be removed. This is where I'm talking about the meditation. If your reading and studying is going to be pure, you have to eliminate this negative mindset that you hold on to if you want to get the magnitude of your studying. If you want to get the max out of what you're doing, you have to proactively take that negative out of your head and fight to eliminate that negative out of your consciousness. If you want to have the proper effect when you're reading this word.
So I gotta use the Bible to disprove my fake thoughts,
Yes.
my fake news.
And yes, but listen, yes, you have to use the scripture to disprove it, but there has to be a proactiveness and a willingness to attack yourself as you're going into the book too. I have to have willingness. If you're going to read, you're not just reading. You got to go and read in this book with the mindset of going to war with yourself. Because that's all Psalms 119 was about. Was going to war with yourself, loving the Lord, reminding yourself that everything the Most High does is good. And my way is off.
Can I pull this right here?
Yes, please do.
Because this sister earlier said, what is iniquity?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 59 verse 12 and 13. It goes into describing it.
Isaiah 59 verse 12.
And 13.
God. It says, for our transgressions are multiplied before thee.
So we keep making mistakes. Read.
And our sins testify against us.
And the mistakes I make and my actions are a testimony to how I was really thinking. My past experiences, like you have testimonies that show what you did right. You all have testimonies that show what you did wrong. Right? We all have that. Read.
For our transgressions are with us. And as for our iniquities.
As for our what?
And as for our iniquities,
As for my iniquities, read.
we know them.
Now, what is our iniquity? Verse 13 goes into it.
In transgressing and lying against the Lord.
So we know our iniquity is connected to lying against the Most High. It's the lies we tell ourselves. Lies are excuses and opinions. These are things that we say that are against the Most High. It's thoughts like we went to. He said every false way. Every false way or false way is iniquity. It's an opinion, it's idea that's not true according to the Bible. It's against the Most High's way of doing things. That's my iniquity. Read.
And departing away from our power.
And it's my excuse to do things my way. I want to do it my way. The Most High has a path, and I'm gonna deviate from this. I tell myself A, B, and C, so I can depart from this path. I'm giving myself an out or an excuse. Read.
Speaking oppression and revolt.
Speaking what?
Oppression and revolt.
It's my sob story, my justification, my reasoning why I want to do what I want to do. Read.
Conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood.
So my iniquity is words from the heart that are false. What is that? That's my own opinion, my own outlook, my own fake perspective, my own justification, my own lies and excuses. What I tell myself pretty much. If it's not the Bible, and it's not the truth, or it's not counsel, or it's not biblical, non-biblical thinking, or excuses, or false words, that's iniquity, sister. Explain that.
Okay, so once again, it would be wise that all of us continue to read that Psalms 119 because it's like 100 plus verses. But the mindset that David had to be in when things weren't going his way, and how he was cleaving to the testimonies and the victories that the Most High had shown him to justify his existence going further, the pure outlook that he had about how the Most High is right and pure, and how learning how to hate every false way in yourself, and to accept that if the thoughts and feelings in you are a certain way and they clash against the scriptures, that means you have to automatically accept that your way is wrong and your way is false. And can we accept that our way is false? That's if you can accept your way is false, you're halfway to finishing and fixing your battle.
It's
And
half the
overcoming
work.
your battle. What's that?
That's half the work.
That's more than half the work, God. Well, listen, it's getting late for us over here in San Antonio. Listen to Wilder for tuning in, and I wanted to go through more verses, but I think we got a lot out of this chapter, so no complaints here. I would like to finish this point. There's more points I got for next Monday, but we'll see. Once again, Thwada, any questions online or in class? Anybody got questions? All right. Listen,
Next time.
everybody, shalom. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thwada, shalom.
Shalom.